Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. This week we are talking about Secret Invasion, Episode 5, some stupid name I can't remember, but Nick
Harvest.
Fury did a lot of things wrong. Harvest, that's right. Thank you. Harvest. Josh, what happened there? I saw you locked. It was like you were worried you were going to get arrested. I don't know. What happened.
I'm from East Texas. I don't know my numbers.
We're on episode 5.
Josh, are you okay? Josh, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you, but you keep doing this.
Yeah, your camera starts.
I'm in East Texas.
Okay, it goes back to his earlier statements.
And I'm in West Texas.
so we got East side, West side.
Not in Texas.
West side.
I got nothing here. So anyway, we will be talking about what I will say arguably was my favorite episode of the series, but please don't get ahead of yourself. The series isn't very good, and it's still not a very good episode. It's the best bad episode of a bad series. That's what I'm saying. So let's do our introductions. And before I actually do the introductions, Mando, send prayers her way. She's not feeling very well right now, so let's get her. Let's get her back here. So she is out of the mix this week, but I do hope that you feel better.
Sister sis, I got you.
So with me, as always, he is my wingman. He is my co-host. He actually stopped me from carpet bombing. What was the city last week? No, I don't remember either. We'll just call it Oakland because it could use a good carpet bombing. He is Shieldwall of Dragons. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. Good to see everybody in chat. Yeah, this episode was titled The Harvest. It felt like it harvested my brain when I watched it. It is a more better episode than some of the other ones.
Good diction.
Yeah, I think it's because it had more Olivia Colman. She's great in this show. So yeah, we'll get into this and talk about it. And then we got some other stuff to talk about later, and some news and things. So
we do.
But yeah, glad to be here.
Cool. He is the nemesis of the Dark Knight, the scourge of Gotham. He is Joker Voice. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Oh, hello, party people. The fact that there's only one episode left puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, I think it does for all of us, my friend. That is the one thing to look forward to about the series is that there is one episode left. He is not just popped. He is popped by culture. Here's our good friend, Josh McDonald, returning once again, despite his best instincts. Thank you for being back, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've decided that for whatever reason, Thursdays are the days that I'm going to have crazy people at work. So every Thursday I'm like racing to just get in here. But speaking of Secret Invasion, I'm with you and Shield. This has been my favorite episode so far. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's the best episode. We'll talk about that later. But it's my favorite. And it still sucks.
And these are all it's funny when we're saying all these things together, but it's important that you understand what we're saying exactly when we are saying our favorite episode. She is Nomi the Only, the nicest gal on the interweb. And again, she is also back despite her best instincts. Thank you for joining us once again, Nomi. How are you this week?
I am doing fantastic. Better than last week where I sat down and watched 4 episodes in one sitting.
Sorry about that. Still sorry about that.
I'm not.
Yeah, so I only saw 1 episode this week. And I'll agree. It wasn't that bad, but I still have my issues on a couple of things. And I thought it was going to be bad, but I still treated myself to reward. And I went to my favorite place to get green chili chicken enchiladas. And Josh, you know what place I'm talking about.
Oh, hello.
Andalays.
Yes. I made a special hour drive just to get those enchiladas.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
That's worth it.
a
It's worth it.
haul.
Is that like a chain or just like
No.
no? Okay.
It's a local spot.
Where
It's I won't say it's in New Mexico. I'll just put it that way. And I went out there for training for my previous job, and I ate there within a week's time. Well, 2 weeks time, I think I ate there 6 or 7 times. Like it was bomb.
wow, that's good. That's good.
I mean,
We
if you're
made-
not-
We made plans that when I go visit Nomi in West Texas, we're going to Andalays. Like that's what we decided.
For every day that he is here, we're going to Andalays.
You can't go wrong with New Mexico green chili.
No,
No.
you can't. And it's real green chili, and it's actually green versus Colorado, where it's brown.
like
Zoinks.
like Denver Brown.
Yes.
So we do have a poll going tonight. This one's a little bit different. What is keeping Roman alive in the 100-degree studio? And your options are copious amounts of alcohol, secret skull strength, or the ball fan of the Empire. Right now, copious amounts of alcohol is winning and is winning. So that's the poll tonight. So please chime in, check it out. Let's take a look who's with us tonight. We are fighting Comic-Con tonight in San Diego. So that is, I know a lot of folks are checking that out as well. R2 the Icky. Teresa, Miss Merton Muses, thank you for dropping by. Good to see you. My good friend Invader Zim is out there. Joseph Dredd. Blair to Blair. Yes, sir. We are still watching the shit show. I'll let you know when we're not so you can come back on the panel. Oops, sorry about that. Well, Jace Fox. He's one of our friends over in Norway. So you're up late. Good. Thank you for joining us tonight. Today, whatever it is over there. And I think that was everyone for now who is in the chat. But again, welcome to everybody who is also viewing. So let's hop in, shall we? When this episode picks up, the big explosion just happened. The president's car has, been blown up by the not Russians. Talos has been killed by Gravik. Thank you. Still don't have it knocked in there. And everybody just kind of parts ways. Rhodie is still out there. He just sat in the van and waited the thing out. He was the smartest guy in the explosions. We pick up in the hospital. Nick is sitting outside. There is a curious amount of security in the hospital. Like no security.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to ask, because when Nick is taking the president in, there's no secret service around him at all. Is that common? No.
No.
Okay.
I mean, even if the president's detail were compromised and taken out, that's a line of defense. That's like the only line of defense. That is a line of defense. There is going to be there's 1,000 other people around.
And then when Rhodie showed up, it's like, who's really the president? Is the president, or is Rhodie the president? Because dear God, he was guarded.
He has a very heavy detail, and so Nick's waiting. He's just sitting outside, and then Rhodie shows up, and then we get an encounter because Nick knows exactly what in the fuck there it is. Rhodie is. He knows he's a Skrull now. He has no question about it. So he puts a gun to his head, and Rhodie's like, "Hey, whoa! How about we not do this?" And he's like, "Give me a reason not to blow your Skrull brains all over the fucking wall." Fine. And then I didn't understand this a lot, and maybe I'm just I guess I kind of do once we have to get past some plot points. But they exchange words. Rhodie threatens Nick with the video that you saw last week, where it is actually Gravik, wearing his Nick Fury skin, killing Maria Hill. But that's going to get leaked everywhere. It's getting leaked everywhere right now. So you got about 5 minutes to get out of here, and you're on your own. And he has the opportunity to kill Fury here, doesn't. Fury has the opportunity to kill him here. He has actually blown a couple opportunities now to kill him. I'm not sure if there's a lot of downside to killing Rhodie at this point. I mean, Nick might get taken out. He might not. I don't know. He's a resourceful dude, but he's like, all right, well, and he leaves. But we go back to that. Yeah, that whole bit. The president is just kind of there.
Yeah.
And everybody is giving anybody any bit of information they want in this hospital. It's just very strange to me.
It's free to public.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, a lot of people keep talking about how bad the writing is. And I keep wanting to stress that, yes, the writing's bad, but the directing is equally, if not worse.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the opening scene where they walk in. There's no security there, nothing. And even if you couldn't get Secret Service there, I'm willing to bet the fact that they had British soldiers show up.
Yes, exactly.
Somebody would have followed somewhere to be like, okay, we have a duty. His unit was taken out. We have a duty to protect him until his people can get back here. None of that happened. You've got the
as a head of state, right?
Yeah, you've got the cheesy, like, it wasn't the Russians. You can't trust Rhodie. And it's just like,
oh God, I know. And Nick's all over him like he's about to, use him as some kind of, knocked out victim.
Yeah.
But there's nobody around. Fury shouldn't have even have that kind of access, honestly.
Agreed.
At this point, because Nick is out. He is, he is not a member of anything at this point.
He's kind of he's a rogue.
Yeah.
And
it blew my mind, man.
He's supposed to have been arrested since episode 2. So
yes,
at this point, I don't know. I laughed out loud when they have convenient lines to try to discuss this whole security issue. But when that nurse was like, "Sir, do you have clearance?" and he doesn't answer, and then they make him stay back, I laughed out loud when he grabbed a chair, put it in front of the door, and then pulled out a gun.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to go over well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was a.
I kept waiting for him to do a Pulp Fiction, like, I don't need no clearance, and like push her out of the way and then go in there. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, he's done that before as Nick Fury. Like, I'm Nick Fury.
Exactly.
Like,
He should have.
I'm Nick motherfucking Fury.
She's one person. What was she going to do if he said, "I don't care," and pushed past? Nothing.
Exactly.
There was no security there. When the president rolls in, it was a doctor and a nurse and like one other person. That room would have had like 50 people in it trying to do something for him. He would have had security. There would have been police people there. It would have just been crazy.
They would have gone to a secure room.
Right. Yes.
Well, not only that, if it was an actual president of the United States, that whole wing would be blocked off.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go near that room.
Yeah. And they know he's coming. It's not like they don't know the president is on his way. Mm-hmm. These are not, because the British, everybody knows this is happening. So the British are going to be there. You don't need to have military training at all to understand how ludicrous this situation was.
Even as far as not being in any armed forces and everything, but the U.S. has an embassy in London. Would they not send security from the embassy there?
Yeah, it's like, wait, what?
Well, I think that's what the Rhodie thing is supposed to be. They would have taken him to the closest cleared hospital.
Gotcha.
But what I'm saying about lack of people in there is, especially my experience in the military was, if there's any kind of incident where it was like an accident or something like that, the amount of people that you never saw before that showed up to that thing trying to figure out what's going on was insane. Like, people that you're busting your butt every day working, right? And you get no help, and then something happens, like a wheel falls off an airplane or something, you see people out there that are wanting to know what's going on that you've never seen before. And you're like, so this room would have been full of like hangers on and people trying to curry favor and lobbyists and who knows what else that would try to get in there to, make sure that the president was okay, so that when the time came, they can all show how much they cared about how he's doing.
Gotcha.
Hey, we've also got a couple more people who have popped in. We got Boosh McFadden.
Boosh!
Always good to see the big Boosh.
That's my mod.
I stumbled over my own Boosh. Our good friend Stephen Ransom. Thank you for showing up, buddy. It's always nice to see you out there, my friend.
Ooh,
and it was Logical Spock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
has popped in as well. Except I can't find it in the chat because I am 197 years old. So please forgive me, Spock. Help me, Spock. Help me also. Sacre Blue.
Acknowledge me.
Excellent. So I apologize. And Stu Jersey also popped in here. I think.
So I've been hearing this. Theory that
I hadn't heard that. I actually hadn't heard that yet. That was new to me.
That the president is a Skrull, or there's a president Skrull impersonator or something. And I'm like, I've never seen anything in this show that would lead me to think that. Like Josh, Shield?
No,
I have not either.
Ahead,
I agree with you, Joker Voice. I haven't seen anything that like indicates that the president is a Skrull. Doesn't mean that with the way the writing is in this show that they would just throw him in there and be like, oh yeah, believe it. My biggest problem with this whole show is they haven't invented a way to figure out who's a Skrull or not.
Right.
Yeah.
But later on, Olivia Colman's character makes it painfully obvious how you do it.
Yes, he does.
And so if something like a physical injury can show what a Skrull is, make them come out of their form even temporarily, it's got to be like the Thing kind of stuff with a blood test or something, right? So it should make it simple to do, to where it'll be like the Thing from The Last of Us, where if they were infected or not, the Thing turned blue. Or turned green or went red.
Yeah, you just something simple.
Yeah, you bring somebody up, you put it on their arm, and you say, all right, I'm checking. And then if it turns red, you put a bullet in their head. Or you apprehend them.
Easy day.
But the fact that none of that is in existence, and you've got like Iron Man suits and, Wakanda couldn't invent something like that. Come on.
Some space tech.
Yeah, space tech. He was literally living on a space station for 5 years or whatever it was.
I mean, the Kree.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
there's so much.
What about the Skrulls? They haven't invented something so that they can spot each other. Do they
exactly right? They can't
Do they got like a skull pheromone going on? What
exactly,
the fuck, right?
Like some kind of scent or something. So,
I mean, just going back to the Captain Marvel film, they were on a Kree ship. So there's no tech on there at all.
See, Steven has already got it figured out. Everyone is a Skrull.
We are Skrull.
We are Skrull.
I'm with Shieldwall on this, and like I know I keep mentioning the show Shield, but the first 2 seasons of Shield, one of the heavy like underlying plot points was the fact that they had taken all this alien DNA and studied it. Specifically with Kree, but if he's got Skrulls, he did it with Skrulls. But they were playing with the blood, testing the blood, running experiments on using that blood on people. Like it was so well laid out that yes, everything about this should say that Fury and or Shield and the U.S. government is going to have information on Skrulls, and the fact that they don't is stupid.
Right. What's up, Jacob?
Jacob Ironside joining us. It's just we go back to the writing of the show, and it's a plot hole after plot hole after plot hole where it's like we're in a field of gophers. There are so many fucking holes.
Yep.
So we get back to Gravik and his sidekick, who actually has a name that we heard in this episode that begins with a P, but I don't know that either. Did anybody else catch the name?
Not to remember.
Pagagon.
Pagagon?
Pagon. Yeah, Pagon.
Pagon?
Yeah.
Pagon.
Okay. I knew it was a P, and I honestly could not remember Pagon. Okay. So anyway, so we get back to fucking Skrullville, which I still hate where they live. It's very annoying. And Gravik's about to give like this talk, but then Pagon's like, dude, what the fuck? None of this has gone like you said it was going to go. And because Fury's still alive, the president's still alive, and Gravik has a moment and he shoots his fucking Groot hand out and punches a hole through Pagon.
Got to keep your Groot hand strong.
Yeah, keep your Groot hand strong. This doesn't go over great with the crowd because he's like, you all of you are nameless and faceless. Basically, he's reducing them to insects. None of you matter. None of you matter because it's all for the cause. It's all for the cause, which sounds familiar.
I don't. And this, and it was a fun little action sequence, but for me, this just came out of left field. And I'm like, when did we get anything that's to show dissension in Gravik's ranks? Never.
No.
Nope.
Also, I wasn't clear on who all is a Super Skrull. I thought this underling dude was one, so that shouldn't have killed him. He should have been able to heal out of it.
I thought he was too. It looks like at this point, Gravik is keeping it for himself, man.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's him and Mary Sue Skrull. That's it.
And Gaia. Right.
Yeah.
Which
But
I'm okay with Gaia being a Super Skrull. They showed how she did it, and it just so it isn't out of the blue. But I just assumed that all the rest of his cadre were Super Skrulls now too.
Yeah.
Apparently not, which seems to me like not a particularly good strategy. You're now basically a single item fail. If something happens to Gravik, then golly, the jig is up, as they say.
But it also by doing that, it lets Gravik be the sole possessor of that power. So,
which is also going to cause. I mean, that would cause some issues, I would think, because the other Skrulls are like, how come we don't have superpowers? How come Boss Man's the only one with superpowers? But you are right that you didn't see any uprising in the work, no grumblings amongst the troops.
I mean, that would have been nice, maybe
go ahead.
in like the previous two episodes, just something.
Yeah, like hey, the only one who's ever spoken up and it has bothered me every time he has spoken because I actually hate the fucking character. Is that one dude who wears the fucking stupid fucking shirts and that furry hat? I don't know what his name is. Beto.
Yeah,
Also a stupid fucking name for a myriad of reasons. Yeah. I'm talking to you, Mr. What's his name? Patrick O'Rourke, but he's assumed.
I reject him as a West Texan, El Pasoan. He is not one of us. He is a fake Mexican.
And cheers to you, Nomi. Yes, he is not. No, he's not. He's not. He's a Mick. I'm half Mick. He's fucking full Mick. He's a Mick pretending he's not a Mick so he can garnish votes amongst the populace. That never happens. Anyway, before I get banned for myriad of reasons from YouTube, we pop into the president's room, or not the president's room. I'm sorry.
Corridor.
This is the British people. We're in.
We're in. He's the head of the
SIS.
SIS. Yeah,
that's correct. And so he's watching this. He's a redheaded dude. I couldn't get the slide before because I'm pulling things wherever I can find them in the interweb.
It's Tony Curran, and he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in the Underworld films. He was one of the vampire elders. He was the one who could turn into a bat.
This is also his third Marvel character that he's played.
Yes.
Because
Oh, wow.
he was in Daredevil, the Netflix series, as the Irish mobster, and he
Yep.
played Thor's grandfather, and I think
Yes.
the Dark
Yeah.
World. So they're getting their use. They're getting some mileage out of him.
Pretty good. They use him like Star Trek uses a lot of actors. They put him through the like David Warner. They use David Warner for like 5 different things. Anyway, so yeah, what am I again? Now we're getting to see. You only see her thigh here and part of her buttock, but she is my favorite character in the show. It is Sonya, played by Olivia Colman. She just walks in the room basically and shoots the dude. Because she already knew that he was a Skrull. This was
look,
she really thought he was a Skrull.
She
Anyway,
all you got to
and
do
this
is
the
pop a
proving
cap
point.
in him. You don't got to kill him, and they
Yeah.
turn. So even if he were to heal out of that, if he was a super Skrull, anybody watching it, you just put it on the air and be like, "Look, this dude's a Skrull," and so
Yes.
it's not hard to root him out. You just shoot him.
And
You don't even have to kill him.
and
Actually, I don't even know if you need to shoot him.
and completely agree with and completely agree that the lack of use of Olivia Colman is criminal. She is by far the most charming character. I love every scene she is in. She makes me laugh. She makes me smile when she's just talking or when she's torturing someone. She is delightful to watch.
Yeah.
I do like it when
She's
she tortures
talking,
people.
Yeah.
And she's
She's so
only
plucky.
she's the only character in this series that's actually acting like an adult, much less an agent.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. But even this scene, when she walks in and does it, his security like detail run in, and they're like,
I think that's all I gotta say.
what did you do? I'm like,
Yeah, what have you done? What is her name? Farnsworth? Is the last name Farnsworth?
Yeah.
Sonya Farnsworth. What have you done, Miss Farnsworth?
and
And
like,
she's
they
like,
would've
oh,
been
just look at
shooting.
this.
Yeah.
Look what he's becoming. She's just such a joy to watch, though.
She's
so
brilliant.
much fun.
Yeah.
She's making the
And then
most
she-
of what she has.
And then she wants the name, or she wants the location of the scientist lady who's making the Super Skrulls. Oh, hey, Courtney, who I also don't remember her name either.
Dalton, Dr. Dalton.
Dalton, thank you. Yes, Dr. Dalton, the scientist lady who makes Super Skrulls. So she wants the information on where that gal is from Skrull on the floor who's bleeding. And now I don't have quite the scene before this, but
The fight.
I didn't know that
Grab-
you were in
grab
the
it.
show, Roman. Look at that.
I know. Yeah,
They got
I
your
guess
good side.
They got my good side.
Wow.
So the Skrulls kind of put a bag over Gravik's head and started beating the fuck out of him because they
you
want
have
to kill him.
guns. You have guns.
Well, cement blocks are way better than guns. Yes. So they use the least effective means possible to try to take out the Super Skrull. He ends up killing the room, and he comes out, and then here's another one of my problems with the writing of these characters is they don't speak like an alien species. They speak like us. I can get that when they're like around us and they want to blend, but when they're amongst each other, one would think they'd have kind of their own banter. They don't. They talk like us because he basically runs out of there. He's like, "You want some? Who else wants some?" It's that kind of thing. It's just
Well, one
absurd.
issue that I have with this whole scene and the whole compound in general, I understand it's probably just a budget thing. If they're Skrulls and they're like their secret code word to be a part of the compound is like to be in my own skin, why isn't everyone else in their own skin if they're so desperate to be themselves?
They explain that in the first episode is if you're one of their warriors, you have to stay in human form all the time to show your dedication and also so you don't ever break character, I guess.
That's just I remember that, but that's still like I think that's just like a dumb rule.
Well, they probably did it just so they could save money.
Yeah,
And-
it's a cheap way to. It's a budget thing. It's a bad device to save budget. All right, but the background characters, Nomi, you're right. You know what? You throw a green mask on these guys, they're in the background. You're not really seeing them very well anyway. as long as it has a back on it, so you're not getting like Mandalorian where someone has half a helmet. But it's not that hard to do. You could produce a dozen of these stupid green masks, throw it on background characters, just have them hanging out there, so it doesn't just look like it's a fucking, slum in Eastern, somewhere in Eastern Europe, which is basically what it looks like, except with green people in it sometimes. It's a budget saving device, but I think it's a bad budget saving device because what are you watching this for? I'm not watching this to see fucking Eastern Europeans.
Yeah.
And like Josh said, that is a fault of the director as well.
Yep. 100%. 100%. So, fuck. Yeah, you're very angry. We all get it. So he's pissed off. So now we're back with Rhodie and the president. And Rhodie's, what is this show? Actually, nobody knows, Spock. So Rhodie is telling the president, it was the Russians, sir. It was the Russians. We need to have a counter strike right now. And the president's like, that's going to be World War III. And again, I've asked this almost every episode that we've watched this show. What is the role of James Rhodes? He's not the NSA. He's not SecDef. I don't even know what fucking advisory status
is he his chief of staff?
No,
I guess I don't know. And also I go back to and you can Shieldwall, you were in the business for a minute. James Rhodes was a lieutenant colonel back in 2008 when Iron Man first showed up on the scene. That means he picked up colonel somewhere along the way, but now we're in this is actually not even 2023. This is what, 2028. This is a little bit in our future.
2020.
I think it's like 2025.
Well, but Jim Rhodes is not sitting as a colonel for that fucking long. And I know I'm talking somewhat just in the minutia military. Oh, hey Mando, feel better. And you always have the link if you want to pop in. If you don't want to have camera on, that way you can just we can hear you grunting from the side. That would be fine too. But again, I know it sounds stupid, but things like that, those are those little details which make things believable in the long run. And again, that's just me, little nitpick stuff. Anyway, the president.
Unless his rank is like an honorary thing.
Oh, like he's no longer
right. He's now.
I guess that could be.
You know what I'm saying? Because they do that sometimes, where they call people like admiral or general. They could just call him
Master
colonel.
Chief.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, so he's in the Air Force. What's the highest rank in the Air Force?
4-star general.
Okay.
So
if he were active, he'd be at least a 1-star.
Right. Colonel is usually the highest rank that most officers attain at the end of their career. It takes a good number of years to get there, and then after that, you get promoted to 1-star general or you retire. That's the career track.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there you go. So
after that,
once you're in the admiral ranks, I'm sorry, I went Navy on you. The general ranks, then it's just kind of a matter of where whose buddy are you? What zone are you in? How effective are you? Blah 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 blah.
It gets a lot more political.
It's way more political,
Right. Once you get to that point, and then certain ranks like 2-star generals, that's really just a placeholder for you to go into something else to be a higher rank.
Gotcha.
But a colonel could be in charge of like a big secret project.
Yes.
Right.
But Rhodie wouldn't be, if he were still active, he wouldn't be sitting as a colonel that long. But I haven't really seen because I mean in the movies we've seen him in uniform.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember, and you're gonna have to forgive me on this, both chat and panel. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Was he wearing his uniform in that
Yes.
when he was
Yes.
right?
Well,
Was
wasn't he
he?
wearing his uniform in this one when he met him at the plane one time? No, that
No, he was still in suit and tie
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier. He was in a suit and tie. I'm going to assume that he stopped any.
I'm going to say you're
All
right.
right,
on that
and
one,
again,
guys.
I may have just, like I said, it may have been more nitpicky than it needed to be. It was just bugging me because there's a lot of things that bug me. So anyway, right now, Rhodie's trying to push everything into World War III, and we don't see. And the president may or may not be a dude. I didn't actually see that Skrull theory before.
We might not have clarified that when we're going through this, but Gravik's new plan is for Rhodie to go tell the president, "Hey, the Russians did it with the help of Skrulls."
That's
And
it. Yes.
he wants-
Thank
And
you.
they're here.
And he's giving the Americans the location of the Skrull.
Oh yeah. He shows them the
base.
nuclear.
Right.
Skrull
So he
shows.
wants them to destroy that.
But it's
because
in Russia.
In Russia, because he's saying, hey, the Russians know that the Skrulls are there. They're helping the Russians. So he wants them to blow that place up on purpose. He wants to sacrifice all the civilian Skrulls there to start World War III, because then once World War III starts, the humans will kill each other, and then they can pick up the pieces. Is his new master plan, which is why his other guy was like, wait, what are you doing? And then he gave him the old Groot hand.
Thank you.
And it's later found out that he was part of an operation that he wants the results of that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But I don't know why I blocked that out. I wasn't even drinking that morning.
Well, sometimes this show can be a little hard to follow.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out.
I do have to apologize for the chat and panel. I get my slides from around the interwebs because I don't have like a capture thing because I'm not that well funded. So I get what I can and I bring it in here. So sometimes I'm missing those slides, which actually would remind my old feeble brain of what is actually happening.
Wow, Phil, that's not Phil.
Even the whole like that conversation
not Nomi.
Not at all.
That conversation that we were just discussing between Rhodie and actually I'm going to call him Scrody, between Scrody and and Gravik, was it like that actually happened at the very beginning, because Gravik calls Scrody and is like, where are you? And I just, because we're talking about hard to follow, the first thing I thought of was like, y'all are both at the same place where a bunch of people were fighting each other. Is one entire side completely dead?
Don't remember this?
Or not? Or no? Like what the hell's going on? Because they should have just been together already. It didn't make sense for them to not be together.
No, it didn't. I assumed everyone had escaped together. But clearly they didn't. So now we are back with
Also some of the, just to bring that up, some of the cuts. So prior to him standing on that mezzanine where he's going to give that guy the Groot hand, he's like, gather everybody up. And then he walks in and they're all there. So it was like a weird time cut jump that didn't really, like, the flow was messed up. So I think that happens a lot where either they're cutting stuff out or stitching stuff together in the editing. And it makes it harder to follow the story, because in their head, they're like, okay, time has elapsed. But to the audience, it doesn't feel like that. So he might have said, hey, gather them up. And then prior to the scene cutting, an hour or two could have gone by. But for you, it feels like you just walked through one door into another, and there they all are. And you're like, wait a second, how do they all gather here so quick?
I will say, and this is a problem that we're seeing with a lot of Marvel films, especially ones that are just terrible, god-awful. It took them 6 months to film this. Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson said that they did 4 months worth of reshoots.
Oh my gosh!
Right. That
oh
means,
my god!
I honestly think that these scripts are being written by AI, and then they're just being touched up by humans.
And
like,
we also
know of it is AI.
And we also know that these shows have major production, but have major film budgets too. So this would probably be on the lower end, but this is probably about $150 million. So with 4 months of reshoots, now you just kick that up to almost $200 million.
Wow. for something you don't really even get a return on, because I mean, it's just going to Disney Plus. Actually, the first 3 episodes of this are now going to be available on Hulu. They're gonna they've already moved into no one's watching this fucking show. And we're going to talk about some more Marvel projects that's happening with later on.
Right.
But it's like, wow, guys, you really didn't give 2 fucks about this. Where's all our money going?
And for the most part, most of the sets aren't bad. Like the first 2 episodes, they were shot on some kind of location that looked good.
Yeah.
It looked like Eastern Europe, wherever they shot it at. And so you could tell they put money into that. They've got some fairly big name actors. Samuel L. Jackson. You got the guy that plays Rhodie. I can't think of his name right now. You got Olivia Colman. I'm sure she's not cheap. Yeah, Don Cheadle. Olivia Colman. She's not cheap. You got
Oscar winner Olivia Colman.
Yeah, Khaleesi.
Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke. Yeah. So they're relatively big named. They've been in a lot of other movies. Some good stuff.
Yeah,
right?
actual good things.
Yeah, like Samuel L. Jackson. We know that the man can act. He's been in a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Yes, Mendelsohn. So I think that's where a lot of their budget went, because these people can demand higher wages because, of who they are. And if you give them the right material with the right amount of time, they can put in these good performances if they can.
I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, keep yelling about this stuff. It's good stuff.
But I think Cheadle and Jackson and Mendelsohn, maybe they can get on the cheap because they have Marvel contracts, and that's already baked in.
Right. But what I'm saying is that that it makes this isn't just like a regular TV show or something. Right. And they're trying to put a lot of money into it, and you can see that they did at some point put a lot of money into this. It's just the writing and the shot blocking and how they edit it is bad. And I don't know why it's that way. If they were struggling to meet some kind of ESG thing or something, or too many people with inputs.
Possibly. Definitely too many people with inputs. I think they had someone else on board to direct this series that backed out like super last minute, and then they brought this Ali Salim or whatever his name is.
At least the terrible. Same has been directing all the episodes.
Yes.
All but one.
But most of the Disney Plus shows are that way. You have a single director for all episodes.
I know the Mandalorian wasn't like that. It was
I meant the Marvel Disney, because had Matt Shackman that did WandaVision. He did every episode. You had the 2 guys that are supposed to direct Batgirl that did all the episodes of Miss Marvel. But yeah, it's just, you're right, Shield. Like they put all this money into these actors, and that's a situation where you have quality here that if you bring the writing and you get a good director, you don't need a shit ton of CGI. And you're telling a spy story that should be suspenseful. Like we should be getting by just on people's performances and what's going on. But we haven't built up any suspension. And I talked about this before. There's no suspension at all anywhere through the story. And you could have had a really suspenseful story, like who can you trust? Who can you not trust? Who's a Skrull? Who's not a Skrull? You've got governments that are potentially against each other. You've got Skrulls that are opposing each other, and you're not getting any of that. You can even have the growing faction of Gravik, like wanting to turn him. So,
well, I have a question for Nomi. Who's your favorite character so far?
So far, it's Olivia Colman. Why? Not because of who she is, but she can convince me of her character in this show, because she does it so flawless and so effortlessly. And I'm like, oh, she can do this, and she does it with grace. Even that she has a poker face throughout everything. Where she's threatened, she's like, oh, okay, cool, try it and see what the results are. But she does it professionally.
Even this. Go ahead, Shield.
Yes.
I was just going to say that I agree. I see glimmers of good performances from everybody, because they're all accomplished actors. They're it isn't like they got people in here that you never heard. Well, there's people you never heard of, like Beto, or the Gravik guy. But I just think it comes down to the writing, really.
Yeah.
We all know that they're all capable, for the most part, capable actors. And if given the right stuff, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to follow the plot a little bit sometimes. So.
And can I just say, I actually enjoyed Olivia even more in this scene when she just caps the guy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was great. Yeah.
Bye, Josh.
So she
wait,
Hi, Josh.
go ahead.
Set Eastern Texas internet.
Oh, he's gone. And like that, he left us.
Maybe
He
Jacob
had just come
Ironside's,
into our hearts and he was gone.
Jacob Ironside's raccoons went over to his house.
Fucking raccoons, man. Hopefully Josh actually reappears. So at this point, and again, the doctor lady whose last name begins with a D.
Dalton,
Thank you. Olivia Colman, Sonya, and her folks. There he is. He is back with us. Josh, are you with us? Josh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's my internet. I'm going to keep my camera off for a second.
Signal if you are in danger.
Help us, Josh.
So she actually tracks them down, and the husband. I don't even know if it's actually a husband. His name is Neil. Is going to just cap the Dalton lady so that she can't give information, or at least he's giving that appearance.
No. Because so Olivia calls him Nigel. And
Nigel,
he says,
thank you.
And he says, my name is Victor. And then Olivia says, "Oh no, Nigel is the man with the."
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right.
At the back of your neck.
That was that scene. This whole scene coming together, which I wish I could play, but I don't want to get banned from the interweb. Was well executed. Again, it's an Olivia Colman scene, which is why it works so well. Because the way she talks to the people and their reactions to her, and that's been the way with everybody who gets to play off of her. They get to feed off of that energy.
She is so just matter of fact. And, oh no, sorry, that's not going to happen now. Yes, lovely lab. We have to torch it, of course.
Well, yes. I love she's, like her as a character. She's self-aware enough that the way she presents herself with that kind of like, let's get a spot of tea. It makes people underestimate her, and she it's clear that's what she's utilizing, and clearly it wasn't the director's choice. Clearly it was Olivia Colman's choice to do this, but she's got the line here where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill her," and she's like, "Oh, Mel's and Mice Speedsters the same way. They like to point guns and make big proclamations," and then she just pulls out her gun and shoots him, and I liked it because, like, kind of what it seems like, she's bashing on men. She does exactly what they're claiming to do, but it's what these characters should be doing. You should just be capping people right and left. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. She does
say that on YouTube.
She has that
in Minecraft.
That there's that British kind of attitude where everything is like very nonchalant and proper, but also very matter of fact. You know what I mean? Which is like a real thing. But if you go back a slide, the guy that was what was his name? Victor,
apparently.
Yeah, he was going to shoot this woman. He's a Skrull. He busts the handcuff chains because Skrulls are strong, and that's how she, so it's obvious he's a Skrull, and he says he's going to shoot her, and then she says that and puts one in his head. Which is also badass. She didn't push him down or beat him up or throw him around or do this thing where she hooks him around his neck with her legs and throws him on the ground and hits him.
I'd actually pay money to see Olivia Colman do that.
Yeah, she just
she did it as a proper lady.
Exactly. She just and like, I ain't got time for this, right? And just kind of puts one in his head, and that's what makes her character so great.
But isn't the redheaded lady a Skrull too? Because we had that previous episode where we were commenting on why are they looking like humans if they're in there with only other Skrulls, they're not soldiers, and they're both working on the machine.
Nobody knows.
I'm not.
Yeah, she is a Skrull.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. And then he's I don't know why he's doing this. I can't remember. I think it was just
Well, because they need her. They don't fucking need him.
Right,
he said
right.
he wasn't going to let her betray Gravik.
Right.
Yes,
That's why he puts the gun to her
Yes,
head.
that is exactly the line.
Yeah.
They are all Skrulls. Yes.
Yeah,
Nadia, thank you
yeah.
for being here as well. Yes, they are all Skrulls. And Mando had set a line up here. She kind of read my mind, talking about Sonya, and she's like spy Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly right. She is like a spy, Mary Poppins. She's boom, 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 boom. Cut off a finger. Let's go. Everything's fine.
A
And I
spoonful
love
of sugar
that.
is going to make the torture go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Olivia Colman making
Full of
torture
sugar
fun.
makes the torture get worse. The torture get worse.
It's funny. Mrs. of the Empire actually just bought the Sound of Music soundtrack, which I know isn't Mary Poppins, but it's Disney and makes my mind connect in that way. So anyway, everyone's a Skrull. Olivia Colman kills Donkey Skull. Skrull skull. How do I get by? I don't know. And now we're back with Gravik. Huh? Come on,
Okay,
that was
so-
pretty good. I
now-
almost pulled that out.
Now,
Yeah.
okay, now, prior to all of this, Gaia and Fury have a scene,
Yes, they had a little
Together.
meet up.
which again, kind of just out of the blue, they're on the same page. After one,
Let me pull this one
conversation.
off for a second so we can talk about that previous scene, which I don't have again, and I apologize. I don't have all the slides. They met up at. Actually, it was where we
safe house,
originally
right.
met all the Skrulls, where Gaia and Gravik met when they were kids, and Fury gave his pitch, so to speak, about
Mhm.
if you take care of us, we'll take care of you. Which clearly wasn't the case in either form. But they were meeting there, and the guy is talking about. I remember I used to hide under that table. And she probably still could because she's only about 3 foot tall.
For real. I kind of want to say this. I love Amelia Clark, but I don't think
This is not the role.
this is not the role for her. Because
I agree. I
if Gaia
agree.
if Gaia is supposed to be like this, young teenager or like young adult, Amelia Clark is a little too old for that character, in my opinion. I love her; she's good at other things, but she's not portraying that youthfulness.
They're
Not
also,
to like. Go ahead, Josh.
they're also writing her like every scene that she's in. They write her as if she's of a different age and mentality too, though. She was with Gravik early on, and you had that really good scene with her and her dad, where he's like telling her to stop or he's going to shoot, and then she's says whatever she says, like, you always make threats but you never follow through on them, and he realizes who she is. And then she's got the scene where she tells him he's delusional because she finds out he doesn't have a plan that's actually going to do anything.
Didn't like that scene. I didn't like that scene. I think the scene with her dad in episode, I think it was episode 1, if I'm not mistaken, was her best scene. All the other scenes she's been in have been written like minor character writing. Like she's just kind of there, a side character. Not someone who her credentials
should be
would her resume gives her a better character than this character. She is a major character, but she's not written like a major character.
Right,
So, anyway,
right.
I just
And
wanted to
then
say that.
when she becomes a super Skrull and survives the assassination attempt because of it, when Gravik, figures out that she was a rat and shot her, and then she comes back because she did the super Skrull thing. It kind of, I don't know what they want to do with her. Is she a main character? Is she the key to everything? Or not?
No, that's someone else later on that they mentioned by name.
Okay, so it's just she feels like a secondary character, which maybe she is.
Does.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she is, but she again, like I said, Olivia Colman is a secondary character who is written way better than a secondary character. Or at least Olivia Colman takes the time to make her not a secondary character. Where I mean, Rhodie is Rhodie. Rhodie still comes off as fine. He doesn't come off as a minor character in this. Gravik to me, and I know this is going to sound shitty, he doesn't feel like a fucking major villain.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like, he's like number 2. He doesn't bring the gravitas of a major villain. Like his number 2 is more like number 3 or number 4. He's like number 2. I hope all these things made sense when I said them. So, anyway, there we are. And so we've got a couple more folks with us. Netflix Mando. Oh, and I'm sorry, that's Nadia. I apologize, Nadia. You are also with us. Netflix Mando. What up, Mando? You Skrull. Nadia is with us. She's been with us for a couple minutes now. Who else has popped in? Dempsey is here.
That's
Hello,
right,
Dempsey.
What's up, buddy?
Always good to see Dempsey. Admiral Teague is here. I actually popped onto his show a couple of weeks ago, and that was fun. We talked about maybe doing a Wrath of Khan revisit. America's 2001, welcome. And I think that's all the new folk who have joined us. If I missed anybody, I do apologize. I am very old. So now Gravik is calling Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And Fury's like, I wondered when you would call. And he's like, bring me
the harvest.
And we don't know what the harvest exactly is at this point. And Nick's like, okay, fuck off. I'm getting on a plane right now. And that was pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to Finland.
He didn't tell Dickhead that though, did he? Or did he? Did he tell him he was going to Finland?
No.
Okay.
No,
Courtney's here as well. I'm sorry, Courtney. I don't want to miss you. Yes, Courtney is here as well. I didn't mention her earlier, and I don't want to miss her.
But the person who was piloting the plane, if you remember, is the
That's what I have.
Is the low-key arms dealer transport that we saw in Black Widow.
That was a masterpiece of a film, by the way, and anybody that says it wasn't.
I'm gonna say so that actor is O.T. Fags Bentley. He's an incredible actor. If they decide they want to do stuff and they can write some good shit for him, I'm down for it because he was probably the most charismatic person aside from Olivia Colman, and he literally had nothing to do here.
His performance.
He didn't. He had nothing to do. He's like
sass.
Grumpy right now.
Yeah, his performance was good. He wasn't. But
you're right. He's there for a second, and then that's it. Yeah, no, not really. And then we're. I did not like this scene. So Fury tells Gaia to go to Priscilla because she'll know how to bury her father. Because that's
where did they get the body from?
That was my first fucking thought, brother. It was like, who's releasing alien body to random teenage girl?
He would have been on his way to Area 51 to be dissected.
It would have been kind of close to where Nomi is. That's where they put them,
or whatever the British equivalent is.
Yeah, exactly. But dude, because that was the first time. Like, you're gonna, and she's sitting in the van with the body. Like, where the fuck did you get this? And it drove me a little crazy. No, Nomi is not a Skrull. We've decided of everybody on this panel, Nomi cannot be a Skrull.
Nope.
I think who won the poll last week? Was it you, Joker, or was it Mando? It was no. So Joker is the Skrull. We that's been established. No one else.
It makes so much sense.
We only have one. We only have budget for one Skrull on this panel. So anyway,
thank you, Nadia. That's right.
So I was going to say Nomi takes the body to Priscilla. So Gaia takes the body to Priscilla. She goes to the house and she approaches the house like, cautiously, which makes sense. She knocks on the door, knock, 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 no answer, not surprised. Then she uses her skull strength and pushes the lock in. Oh, I'm not showing you the screen because I'm a fucking idiot. Come on, you're there. I pressed the button. All you need to do is pop up on the screen. There you go. Okay. So then she kind of creeps into the house And I thought at this point it looked like so fucking low budget. And this scene just annoyed the shit out of me.
Mhm.
And I mentioned this a little bit in the green room before the show. This is how much this scene bothered me. So she pushes the door open with her skull string. She pulls out her gun and she's creeping in. And she's like, Professor, whatever the fuck Priscilla's last name is, and creeping around the house. And it just felt really lame. And then Priscilla's in the kitchen with a gun. And she's like, you're the one they sent to kill me? And she's like, no, not me. Ha ha ha. And then everybody puts their guns down and they have a delightful conversation about burning Talos.
So real quick, either Priscilla is the same height or she is standing on a box or a couple of books or something. Be the same height as her.
That's
But
a good
I mean,
observation.
this was a longer scene by far than it needed to be. And we get to, okay, so they get the body. Yes. And they burn the body and they say some fucking Skrull prayer bullshit stuff. She puts her mother's wedding ring on the body because they have to have a sacrifice with it. That's part of Skrull culture. Fine.
Sure. That we need.
Yeah.
And we needed to know that why.
No, exactly. None of this brought anything to the plot. They could have just gone out, set the motherfucker on fire. You would have had a Skrull barbecue smell wafting through the neighborhood. But that would have been it. That would have been completely fine. When Luke burned Vader, there wasn't a long exchange of fucking father, I'm so sorry. He just set the motherfucker on fire. That's all you needed for this. Burn the motherfucker.
I'm all for, I mean, since it's her dad, you know, like the fact that she wanted to get his body, I think the intention here is to show that the Skrulls themselves have respect in an afterlife. And I think that was the intention here. And I'm all for it. What I hated about this is, and this is why they keep writing her. This is why they keep writing her as almost like different characters, because she went from being upset with her dad and everything that he didn't do and how he approached things to here she's like, he was a general, he deserves a ceremony, procession. And then it makes Priscilla, I mean, this is her dad, but Priscilla's like, well, Talos didn't like, you know,
he wasn't about pageantry.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, she would fucking know that. It's her dad. Like, why is Priscilla telling her this?
Right.
Yeah, something you didn't hang out with him ever. He wasn't like an absentee dad. He was around for most of your fucking weird ass life.
Yep. And then she suddenly doesn't know the prayer that they're gonna say. But her whole thing
I don't even know how that's fucking possible. Her mother died not terribly long ago. She was in Skrull culture. You know, it's not like me when I go back to the East Coast and I'm around the Italian relatives and I have no fucking idea what they're saying, except I know they're probably yelling at me. But I don't know what they're saying because I've been removed from the culture for that long.
Right.
She grew up with this until she was in her whatever the fuck age she is for a Skrull. I have no idea because it doesn't fucking matter.
And they've already established too that her parents tried to keep what they could of their identity, even with the plants that they grew, their crops, the food, and that was her whole thing. Even joining Gravik was to regain this Skrull, you know, culture. It's shit writing.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
I want to rewrite these 6 episodes and show people what the show could have been.
No, there was a lot of potential here. There was a ton of potential here. And even, and this is a giant even, without the superheroes, you could have had the tense spy thriller that Josh was talking about earlier.
You could have.
But you didn't. You didn't. Even, like I said, the superheroes were a major part of the comic book, but obviously that's neither here nor there. You could have had a Captain America Winter Soldier was the best of the Marvel films, in my opinion, which is not wrong in this instance, but often is.
Arguably, you're right.
Because of the way it was put together. There wasn't a whole lot of superhero shit in that movie. It was largely spy stuff, and that's what made it so good. This could have been that same caliber, or at least something attempting to be that caliber, and it was just like, nope, not going to do it this time. All right, that's fine. Right. And now you're going to be on fucking Hulu, and next weekend. Nice job. That's how you know you made it. You made it to fucking Hulu.
To address this comment by Nadia, that says it seems every female character in MCU has daddy issues, and not in the fun way. Well, okay. Well, you write what you know.
I mean,
yeah.
and honestly, folks, if you're going to give a female character with daddy issues, have her work them out properly. Be a stripper.
Yeah.
I would even say I would be fine with her. I'm fine with her having the daddy issues. Like, she has a relevant point to be upset with her dad.
And a
They just
stripper.
can't write that and articulate it to make it worthwhile.
No, they don't. They don't by a long shot.
I
So
didn't
they
know
very
this. Admiral Teague
Oh,
has a very good point.
oh yeah, okay. Why doesn't Nick Fury make his Skrull wife assume the form of something like younger Linda Carter? That's because no, you can't. No, you can't do that in Real Teague. Not and get your D. I was gonna say DUI score, but that's
ESG
not what
score.
it is. The ESG score up. So remember, there has to be certain levels of diversification. Now, hi,
Nadia,
Cannoli.
that is true.
Fair enough.
But they're always hiring. So
they set Talos on fire. They come back to the house and they have this really long conversation again, which I didn't think needed to take place, about how she would sit and watch Nick in this chair for hours while
Just
he
reading
would
a
read.
book.
Tell you what, if my wife is watching me for hours, I'm getting very, very concerned. She's going to kill me in the night. Something is wrong. Something
That
is
or
wrong.
she's like-
Clearly, the writers have never been married.
Yeah, that
It's
or Fury's
honey,
like,
is everything okay?
do Skrulls eat people? Like, are you looking at me like I'm a snack?
It's because you are a snack baby.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So
in that case, you shouldn't be staring at him for that many hours. You know.
Just go and get it.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Go
saying. Doing
cook
other
him.
stuff.
And so then Gaia says, "Did he ever feel that way about you in your own skin?" And then Priscilla pulls back a little bit. She's like, "I didn't mean to offend." And Priscilla's
Yeah, you
like, "Of course you did. You're young, and young
And you
people
think
think
you
they
know
know everything." Which, I mean, all of this is fine, but it dragged the scene out longer, whatever. The scene out longer than I thought it needed to.
Yep.
And then the bad guys drop in, and she just asked her why you didn't leave. She's like, "Well, if I want to, go out, I want to go out in my happy place." All right, I guess that's fine. But then this scene happens, and there are a lot of parts of this scene I have problems with.
Me too.
One, and probably the biggest, a team drops in of like eight or so guys, gals, I don't know what they're wearing gear, it doesn't fucking matter, who are here to take Priscilla out. Remember, folks, Gaia is a super Skrull.
Mhm.
Huh? What was that? Why is she putting on a bulletproof vest and getting a shotgun when she clearly has Groot powers and all these other fucking things? That is a question for the writers, kids, and I can't answer it. So her and Priscilla go back to back like they're playing Call of Duty and shoot down everybody.
Mhm.
I would blame the writers. And like so many things in this episode, it comes off as director told me to stand here. Director told me to do this. Director told me to put this on. And that's how they're acting it.
Yeah.
And plus these writers and everyone else on the production side, they don't even know their own source to material in their own episode.
Mm-hmm.
No, exactly. It's like, because that's all I could think about. No, go ahead, Nomi. Go ahead. Go.
Well, I was going to say, when they were getting shot at and they run to the basement and Priscilla pulls out the drawer of her equipment, whatever, how did Gaia know that as well? Because that's the one thing that bothered me the most. And Gaia just instantly grabbed a bag, like not knowing what's in that cabinet.
Yes.
That
So,
bothered
Joker,
me.
if I'm handing you a backpack, it's probably not full of armament. It's probably full of alcohol. I want you to take it and run with it so we have something to drink after the fight. That's why I'm giving it to you.
So
Okay.
I didn't have a very big problem with them being necessarily as skilled as they're displayed in here, because you got to remember they're actually older than they look. especially Priscilla. Who knows? I imagine she's had all kinds of like high end training and whatever
Yeah,
because
agreed.
she's an operative, and
Like
same
Opa.
with and same with little mini me or whatever. So I didn't have a problem with that. And while the fight was going on, that part was kind of okay. I mean, really, that many people thought automatic weapons at that range should never miss, but somehow they did, and they weren't like showing them taking like hits in the armor or anything.
Stormtrooper
No.
Skrull.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
because Dragon Lady should have gotten hit at least 17 times, and then you would have seen her heal up. That's not even that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
She would have healed up.
Fucking doing it all.
And what you could tell is that it would show them, and they kind of look like they're fumbling around with their weapons, and then they do a close up of them reloading, and it was obviously a different person doing it.
Yeah.
So that was, that was competent, knew what they're doing. But overall, as a scene, it was exciting, and I guess it was all right, and it wasn't too over the top. Again, they were using guns, and they weren't like. But they're Skrulls, so even if they were like throwing guys around like they didn't weigh anything, I would have been okay with that because the plot explains why they're so strong, especially her as a super Skrull.
But Shieldwall, I have to go back to fucking guy is a super Skrull. She's not using any of her super Skrullness. She's using a gun, which is completely unnecessary in their situation.
Even if the only thing she had was extremis, like it's a missed opportunity for her to step up and become a shield to protect Priscilla. Because I'm going to be honest, I knew this scene was coming because this scene was in the very first trailer or one of the trailers they released for the show. I assumed that Gaia was going to take this opportunity with Priscilla to like rebuild what her dad was trying to make. But kind of just like rebuild it up. Like he's gone, but someone needs to carry his mission. Let's do it. And I thought that's where this was going. Apparently, it's not.
It did not. It did not go that way. So they basically shoot down all the baddies. Thank you, Jana. I appreciate it, Jana. Welcome to the show, by the way. Yes, I know. Here's the problem. The problem is I get irritated by the show because of this show. Because this show misses its own points. It's like we established something over here. She got shot by Galbraith down in the road on her motorcycle. And she healed immediately. But now she's wearing a bulletproof vest and blasting a shotgun like she's taking over a 7-Eleven. When in fact there is zero reasons that she needs to do this. She could get shot in the effing head and she's going to survive. Whereas Mrs. Fury in the back there isn't. She requires protection. And like I said, going back to back like you're in Call of Duty is not providing that protection. But I'll put that aside. Yes, was it exciting to watch? Sure. It was one of the most action-packed scenes in the show. But it shouldn't have played out that way because of what they had already established. And that's where my problem is. And that's fine. That's
right.
Fine.
And then I don't know if you have the slide, but okay, you don't. But after
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. After the battle is over, they do a close up of Gaia, and the vest that she's wearing is like this big square thing on her. It looks ridiculous. Like it's too big for her. It doesn't look anything like it does in this slide. It's like she looks like a clown wearing it, basically. Like it's way too big for her.
Gotcha.
So now we hop to an airport somewhere in Finland. We see this elderly gentleman.
Who's obviously not hiding anything.
Clearly not hiding anything. The gentleman checking him in has a picture of Nick Fury, who is the only person who is wanted anywhere on the planet right now, taped to his desk like, no, not him. Clearly not him. And then as soon as he walks out of here, he peels off the mask and it's Nick Fury. And he hops in a car with Sonya. And she's like, I forget what they called that. The Widow's Veil tech.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
What was that from?
That was from Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yes, Scarlett. It's what Scarlett Johansson wore to get in there with Robert Redford.
Yep.
She
that's right. Yes,
put it on
thank
to
you
be
for
one of the
reminding
World Council
Yep,
members.
yep. I got it.
And
Okay.
Olivia Colman says you spent over $1 billion on that, and all it can do is change your face. And he's like, well, this was the first iteration of it. So
Right.
apparently there's a suit out there that'll let you completely change your entire body.
Right.
All right. So they're in the car ride. She puts on some clever music. And then she asks him, what the fuck, dude, basically. And then he spills the deal with Harvest.
And he's wrong. And he's wrong. And he's wrong. He says every person at the Battle for Earth spilled some blood, but he makes a point to specifically name Carol Danvers. Captain Marvel is now the key to everything.
Yeah.
But she never
that was
bled.
great.
But she's never.
Also-
But she
I
never.
mean, she was
Maybe her
But she
menstrual
never
cycle.
I was about to say that. Oh,
Thank you,
Well,
Nomi,
there's
for
a way
that.
for her to bleed.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm
well,
willing.
No, she never bled. She never bled.
Thanos
No.
smashed her down though, right?
Still, but never bled.
Yeah, but it's I think that's the way she's built anymore. So you probably, I mean, you've got Thor blood, Hulk blood. I mean, you have a lot of Avengers blood,
Scarlet Witch.
but he did mention
Scarlet
Captain
Witch.
Marvel, so you obviously have Captain Marvel blood, despite. And here's I'm going to ask a question, and I don't. This is just me being dumb because I'm old, I'm sure. So they go out on the battlefield, and Nick tells her, they made this team to go out and gather the samples, and Gravik was part of that team, which is why he knows what Harvest is. You're out on this giant battlefield that has blood from thousands and thousands of participants.
Right.
How do you break down, what's Chitauri blood, whatever fucking giant worm blood, and there's
you got Chitauri.
Oh, they all disappeared. Disappeared.
You've got Chitauri. You got Leviathans. You got the Outriders. But you got all the heroes.
I was about to say, forget the aliens. You've got all the humans that are there. You've got the freaking entire Wakanda there. You're not gonna know whose blood's who. No one's gonna go in and actually scoop this up and get samples of it. Like, it's not gonna happen.
So I thought that was just fucking. And again, maybe it's me. I thought it was incredibly fucking stupid.
I kind of want to say it also kind of reminds me of the WEF. They're collecting people's data, blood, just to keep track on everything. That's just my conspiracy theory.
Well, my biggest thing is how do they have all this DNA in one liquid inside this ampule?
Yes,
right?
All of this is in a fucking vial somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it's what he says it is. I think it's like a poison or something. But
I think that's Josh.
Oh, you think it's opposite or other than what?
I think it's like
now, my thing is this. So just looking at everyone, I mean, even on this side here. Okay, so whose blood is really all that valuable? Thor, Scarlet Witch, Cap.
I mean, you've got full on Asgardians there. There's valuable blood there. But it's just the whole plot itself is just it's stupid.
No, but it's absurd. I mean,
well, Ant-Man's blood is no use to you because he's
technology.
A dude. Same with
Jim Rhodes,
same with Iron Man. Yeah,
dude. There's a lot of dudes.
Spider-Man, Black Panther, Thor.
Mantis, because she can read minds, like she can touch you and she can control like how you are.
Yeah, but is that going to get passed through the
Mantis,
DNA? I mean, she's a bug lady. I don't know. I don't know all the questions.
Doctor Strange, no, because he's just a magician.
No. He's a dude.
His blood doesn't matter. Let's see. Who else?
Even the Pegasus that Valkyrie is riding on, you can get wings.
Yeah, that's just a horse with wings.
Yeah.
Valkyrie is just an Asgardian, right?
Yeah.
She might have something different about her, but it's the same. You got Thor's blood, you're good to go.
What is Spider-Man swinging on that photo? That is a great question, Zim. He's just there.
What is he attached to?
So I'm trying to think who else would be okay, Hulk, obviously.
Hulk. Rocket, maybe. Who knows?
Well,
But that's
Rocket
just-
Raccoon.
even Star-Lord, because his dad was a planet.
Right. So Star-Lord's blood. Okay. Granted that. What about
Scarlet
Thanos'
Witch.
blood?
Yeah.
His
That's
would
true.
be,
I don't know if so. I have a question about that.
Joseph
So
Dredd.
when Tony did the snap, did all their shit disappear? You know what I mean?
like all the
But
blood
like
that comes
blood,
from
Like
them and all
everything.
that.
Did their entire mess that they left behind disappear? Like, Thanos disappeared. All the baddies disappeared. Did all of their, their fallen disappear as well? Or were they still on the field? I don't remember.
That's actually a good question.
Yeah, I think everything evaporated, if I recall.
Because I think Tony just wanted basically all the bad guys to be gone.
Right.
Was his
He needed
magic way.
he needed somebody like Nadia to think about it like they're making a pact with a
Howard the
genie.
Howard
Like, you
the
know what I
Duck
mean?
is there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Kind of.
look,
Anyway,
Go ahead,
sorry.
Josh.
I was just gonna say,
Go ahead, Josh,
I'm
go.
good. I'm good with the blood plot line. It's just how they got it is stupid. Especially when everyone except for the Guardians of the Galaxy have essentially worked with Fury. He would have found reasons to get their blood prior to this,
Mhm.
and it would have been believable.
agreed. So and then we get to basically before they get out of the car though, she's like, "So this is all your fault." And Nick's like, "Yep. One more. Let's blame Fury for everything moment, because we get plenty of those."
It's because
So
he's black.
they oh god,
Sorry. Just blame it. That's what they're kind of doing. Just put your whole
blame the white
troubles
guy.
on
You
them.
gotta blame the black guy.
Yeah.
See, this is why I need Ego or AJ here so that I can have some kind of representation to yell back on this point. But I am part Sicilian, so I can speak. It's so they're walking through this graveyard in Finland.
Mhm.
They get to a stone,
which
It
they
is oddly
specifically,
enough.
but which they specifically gave you. It is because did you know that this is 294 kilometers from the Russian border?
Yeah, that seems oddly specific and for no reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't
then
fucking matter.
I kind of like to point out that his gravestone, that quote that he has, that's a Bible verse.
Yeah,
That's in the book of John.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
here's
also
the-
different than the one he chose for the one in
Soldier.
Washington or whatever.
Yeah.
In Winter Soldier. That was
right.
Ezekiel 25:17, which doesn't exist.
Didn't he?
It's a made up.
Didn't he say he's got multiple headstones?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Why would he put his
I
name
got these
on
all
it?
over the world.
Why would he put his name on it? Anybody can
Yeah,
walk up and be like,
it's-
"Oh, this is his secret thing. Let's bust it open."
Yeah,
it not
because
only-
Nick Fury might have something in here.
Yeah, not only why did he put his name on it, which I mean is stupid, but they make a point to give this whole story of why he put it here, and it's because they had their honeymoon here. And I'm like, if you were
Yes.
gonna hide something precious anywhere, you want to put it where you don't have any ties. It's
So
like
then he
you
had to
choosing a
say
password.
because
My password, and it's my wife's name. Like,
yes, and then
But
then he had to
it's
say
his breath.
because
It's
Skrulls
his
love
breath.
cold weather, and then
Yeah.
that's when Sonya realizes that Priscilla is a Skrull, and he's like, "Now you know why I'm doing what I'm doing." Okay, fine.
No, I
Because
don't.
she also asked him why not call in the Avengers, and he's like, "This
Yeah.
is a war only I can fight.
I was like,
Only
that
I
was
can
stupid.
win?"
That was the dumbest excuse. I did like that his breath unlocked it because it was like a DNA coded thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But where it was hidden, I thought it was going to be like in this thing in the ground. No, it's in the middle of the headstone. You could have just taken a sledgehammer to the thing
yep.
and cracked it open.
Yeah, it
to
wasn't
get
anything
through it.
special about that.
Yeah,
Unless the headstone is made out of vibranium.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. But
I don't think they wrote that far.
no, I mean,
Your mom's
this
made
was
out of
probably be
vibranium.
an easy prop device to make. you know?
But
Yes,
but hey, guys, you're missing the point. He went into the mausoleum, and he puts the eye patch on and a long
So-
jacket.
oh
You know,
yeah,
and at that point, I am so overcome with I don't care.
we'll get to that in a sec because the way that goes about, I also found fucking retarded, and I'm gonna use that word because it was. So he pulls out the vial, and then she's like, "So you're just gonna give it to him?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess
Yep.
fucking so." Okie dokie. And then he goes into the mausoleum, and this was the fucking dumb as dumb can be.
This is supposed to be, but this is supposed to be oh my God, this is so cool.
Dun,
Oh my God.
bum, 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 bum. So
Dumb.
he's got three different fucking things that open up. One has his eye patch, one has a coat, the other has a gun.
Like, why?
That is fucking
Why
retarded.
weren't they all in the same one? It just he's opening it with his he's using a retinal scan or something to open all of these, and it's like they're clean inside. It's got nothing, and he has one gun. It has no spare ammo, no holster.
Also, if you're in a rush too, like, dang it, I have to open all three of these. So, like, open my eye.
Exactly. It should have just
You
been
just
like
created more of a problem for yourself.
It should have been like a some kind of suitcase or something. The door opens up, you pull it out, you open it up, it's got all this stuff in it.
And then you open up something else, and it's got some other tech to it. You open the other one, it's got something else, but just one simple item.
His eye patch was like in a box or something, right?
Yeah. It was in a box.
So
His eye patch
you get this
was in a
box and you think, "Ooh, what's in the box?" It's going to be something.
What's in the box?
Yeah.
What's in the box?
Eye patch.
No. Oh, Jacob, you bite your tongue, buddy. That better not happen.
Well, I think I wouldn't say Maria Hill, but I'm thinking Monica Rambeau.
I think
what? No, it's. I bet it's going to be one of them, one of the Marvels.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it. Don't be surprised
Well,
if it's a member of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Josh, what were you going to say, hun?
I'm 100% with you on Monica Rambeau, and here's why. At the end of WandaVision, Monica gets called up to go to the space station where Nick Fury is.
Correct.
Also, in Captain Marvel, Monica is friends with Gaia. Like, they become friends. As children, they become friends. So the person that would make the most sense is Monica. Roman's falling asleep.
I'm not falling asleep. I just hate that's my soul leaving my fucking body, Josh. Because these characters are so it is. No, I'm not even denying it. I'm not even upset about that. I just fucking hate everything about Captain Marvel in the MCU. And largely in the comic books as well.
Yeah. And then also I have a
love-hate with this.
To follow with Josh, what he's saying, because Monica and Gaia were friends growing up as kids. And then they're probably just going to hype it up because the Marvels is coming out later this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives someone to anticipate on that. Yeah. So people will get the attention back like, oh my gosh, we can't wait to see it. Like, when really no one's probably going to go see it. Because they just announced earlier today or yesterday that they're doing reshoots now.
No.
Well, are they? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Well, they can't do it now because no actors are working. But
yeah.
Oh. That's good. I fucking hate this whole thing so much.
Yeah.
This is the thing. So actually, I'll talk about it after this if I remember. If I don't remember, that means it wasn't meant to be. Well, you're not wrong, Zim. You're not wrong. So Nick has his gun and his eye patch and his clever coat. So he is now complete once again. Though he should trim that fucking beard because it's still out of control. And then he makes this phone call. Basically, which is, hey, it's time to end this. Let's do it. So I'm assuming, and I may be incorrect, that he is calling Gravik.
That's what I assume.
To give him the vial. Pardon me, he could be making a secret phone call to someone else to, bring the conclusion to this. But we haven't had any foreshadowing.
If I had my way, it was Thor, and he's going to show up and fix everything.
I would love that so much.
I know.
That would make up for everything else that this series has done to us. And then Nick walks out of the mausoleum in his cool coat with this cool thing, except he's still wearing the knit cap, which I find irritating. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, I do want to point out one thing. I think you're right. I think it's Gravik. It's Gravik that he called. However, I do think
it's Gravik, but I think it's Gravik.
I think it's Gravik too. I do think someone's going to pop up in this next episode because we still haven't had the cavalry seer comment that's in the trailer. Yeah. And if anyone with superpowers shows up, his whole thing about we need to stop relying on people with superpowers is going to be. But it's what we should expect.
I hate. Yeah, these writers. Yeah, it's 100% what we should expect from these writers. I hated that. I hated that exchange of dialogue between Nick and Sonya. Nick, who I should love as a character because he's Nick fucking Fury, but this is not our Nick Fury. This is what Nick Fury has become with this block of writers.
Real quick, Roman, I can see your car.
Holy shit! How did this happen?
I was like, "What the heck is going on?
What is going on out here?"
I legit was
What
like,
is that
what
on?
the fuck
It's
does
so
that
hot.
mean?
Oh my god!
It's so
my
hot in there
studio
that
is
is-
fucking
yeah,
melting. Give
it's
me a second
melting.
to try to fix
Yep.
this. Oh my god!
It's just
Oh lord!
I was
What
like,
the
is
fuck
that in the
happened?
window?
Oh no! It's happening worse. It's gotten worse. Oh my god! Oh my
the
god!
Nick Fury that we all know from like Winter Soldier. He would have just run through all these people like they weren't even there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He would have been 2 steps ahead of them, and Gravik would be dead in a ditch somewhere by now. But
Yeah.
they just deconstructed his character so badly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get this feeling that Hollywood writers, especially from Disney and the MCU, have this thing about older people that they get this idea that as people get older, they become more incompetent, and and you know what I mean, and like their whole life and all the accomplishments and achievements they made were just either they're not as good as they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And while that can be true with aging, it's not always the case. But I get the feeling that that's what they think of older people, and I don't know if that's something driving that, or it's just because the writers, that's how they think.
Well, they've done that. Remember, Marvel, or not Marvel, I'm sorry, but Disney has done with this with all their major characters. They did it with Han Solo. They did it with Indiana Jones now. And of course, they've also done it with Nick Fury. They don't like their older legacy characters.
Right.
Don't like them.
Because
the bumbling fucks.
Because the Force is female, and Kevin Feige's own words, he wanted more than half of the Marvel heroes to be female.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe. Wait, what? Copa? Wait, what? I wouldn't know. I don't believe Roman exists now. No, that's actually fair. So I've explained this before. My background is green screen, but this thing behind me does exist. It just exists 20 feet further back. It's the setup of the garage these days, folks. It's just the way I had to make things work, so I didn't have to do this every fucking time I set up. I am not AI. I am not AI. I am not AI. I am not AI. The system works.
Roman, say potato.
Potato?
Okay, I'll take it.
What?
Wait, is that supposed to be some kind of like AI
Is that a
Turing
test?
or something?
Yes.
It is? Really?
Yeah.
Actually,
just to prove like you're not a bot or anything, you have to like type some obscure word of potato and it works.
All you'd have to do is show us his hands, because we know AIs can't render hands. If he's got 6 thumbs, then we know that he's got like a weird thing. The microphone is like graphed.
No, I'm not a Skrull. I'm not a Skrull. I don't
Roman,
care what
we
they
need
say
you to-
about me.
We need you to click all of the boxes that have stoplights in them, okay?
Yeah.
It's so unfair.
But we put a picture that has the very little corner of one, so you don't know if that counts or not.
Exactly.
That's just mean spirited. Anyway, so that's the end of this episode. Where are we going? Where are we going next? I think you're right. I think we're gonna have a super, and I think it's gonna be either Captain Marvel or
Monica
the other lady, Monica Rambeau. It's not gonna be the little
Miss Marvel
shrimp lady with the weird giant hand. There's no point to her.
Miss
anyway.
Marvel. Yeah.
Yes, I don't like her as a character. I don't like her as a character in the comic books, in series, and certainly in film. That is not going to go well, I expect, for anyone. That poor kid is going to be in therapy for the rest of her fucking life. So, How are they going to wrap this thing up? I don't know. It's not that I don't care, but it's largely that I don't care. But I am going to be happy that it's going to be over. They could have a lambast fucking killer last episode, but I don't think they will. Like I said, they've deconstructed Nick Fury to the point where he's unrecognizable as Nick Fury. Most of your primary characters, with Olivia Colman aside, she's the only standout. We've talked about that before. This is why this is my favorite episode, is because there was more Olivia Colman. And that was it. That was it. My favorite scene is still from the episode where she cut off the guy's finger. That's still my favorite scene in all the episodes. Pops is going to be on with us next week as we do our wrap up of this show. We're gonna cover the final episode, and then our last bit is going to be talking about the series as a whole. We're just going to share our thoughts on that. But we are not done by far this week, my friends. We still have this week to talk about the news and all the horrible things that are happening in entertainment. But there's something good that I want to share before I jump into that. I have to bring up my Twitter real fast, so forgive me for that.
I was hoping it was going to be Ethan.
No, he's too big now. He is a menace to himself and others. He's gotten too big to bring to the studio, because, as you know, I'm working within a very small AI pod that I do the
AI pod. So you admit you're AI now?
Yes, I don't actually exist, folks. I'm like a not so good version of Max Headroom.
I was just going to say that.
But what I did get today, and I thought there it is. I thought I put it on the Twitter. I need to blow it up so you don't get all my other Twitter. Not that you would want to, because it's not very exciting. Is the Jupiter comic came in? Fuck off, computer. There it is. From Jason Sandberg. So he's an independent guy. I saw him. We were actually on Zach's together, and then he's over on Cannoli as well. So he's put out this comic book, Jupiter, and it's about a girl who she discovers she has magic powers, and he's drawing his animation styles from a lot of different things that he loved when he was growing up in comic books. So you have this whole book of Jupiter, and then the back cover, which I love, it's just a back cover, is Captain Klein bottle, which looks like old Jack Kirby art. And it's just like, oh, dude, that's cool stuff. And then, the thank you for buying the book, a couple of cool cards, and then the back of the cards as well. So I was just really excited to get this in the mail. And I want you to go, please check out his Twitter, which has his link, his tree in it, and then you can get to all his stuff. And as independent, Eric July and Jason, support the independent guys, because that's probably where the future lies as these industries go, are eating each other and self-destructing. Writer strike, good example. So we're gonna do what we start with every time we do this. Really, am I that good? Because you own maybe we're gonna look at the box office again, because I still find this entertaining to do. What happened here? Ending what? Why? What? Oh, never mind. Ignore me. I drifted off for a moment, folks, because I am very old. I got confused by this.
It took me a while, but I got there.
I did get there. So Sound of Freedom, still coming in strong, actually made more money in its second week than it did in its first week.
Yep.
What?
I think word of mouth, and also media trying to downplay it has actually made more people want to watch it.
Yeah. And it
Nadia,
did go a little bit wider.
You are. Okay. Good night, Nadia. What was that, Josh?
I said it did go a little bit wider in terms of the theater release count, because I think it was around 2,800. Okay, now it's at 3,200. But yeah, Shieldwall's right. Word of mouth, 100%. And the fact that you have such a strong media presence from your main media networks talking about how bad this movie is, because it focuses on child trafficking. Anyone in their right mind is going to know that child trafficking is bad, and talking about it is good.
What?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the numbers right now, the weekend box office from weekend 1 to weekend 2 jumped 39%. Week to week jumped 66%. And if you look at the graph, that thing spiked big time. And currently right now it's legging out at a 3.7.
Yeah. Even at your total gross, like just to point out, this film total gross is at 85 million, 85.7
And that's
million.
only domestic because it did not go international. This is all domestic box office.
Correct. That's only domestic. It cost around 14 to 15 million to make, and I don't know how much Angel Studios purchased it for, but they're hitting a profit.
I believe they bought it for 40.
Wasn't this movie in the can a couple of years ago?
5.
Yeah, it's been completed since 2018.
Yeah.
And as of right now, the most updated thing, it is just under $101 million total gross.
So so we look at the numbers again though from this week. Mission Impossible, not surprising, coming in at number 1.
Right.
I was happy, but still surprised that Sound of Freedom came in at number 2. But Indiana Jones is dropping like a rock already. I mean, it underperformed going in, and it's continuing to underperform. And then we go down, and then don't know what that is. Spider-Man still hanging in there. Transformers, whatever.
Elemental
don't know what it is.
That,
don't know what it is.
Is that animated thing?
Yeah, it's the Pixar with the water guy,
fire
and the
and water
girl.
elements.
I don't think it exists. Little Mermaid somehow is still in theaters, which I find amazing. Asteroid City, my son saw it. He thought it was interesting, but it was weird. But that's pretty much any Wes Anderson film. Don't know what that is. And then The Flash, way the fuck down here, just scraping by. Although I think it is performing better than Indiana Jones did overall, isn't it? This is just domestic box office, but I think overall, Indiana Jones is fucking tanking because it's made like 300 million, but it needs to make way the fuck more than 300 million.
Mm-hmm.
And
so Indiana Jones.
Sorry,
I was gonna say Indiana Jones surpassed Flash at the global box office already.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah, just barely. But Elemental. So for your global box office, Indiana Jones is at number 10 right now after this weekend. Elemental is actually at number 9. And it's crazy that Elemental's beating. Yeah,
I've never even fucking heard of that. I have no idea what it is.
It's kind of a story. It's like a love story kind of thing between a water elemental and a fire elemental. And it's
like Romeo and Juliet.
Kind of like that.
So romance. Just think of a flame and a water droplet having a personality, and they're attracted to each other.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work on a physics level.
But it's
it's always trying to break it down to like the most basic terms for me to understand.
Yeah. But it's basically it's basically like every single Pixar film. The What If Your Toys were alive?
It doesn't work.
What if Cars were alive? What if your emotions had emotions? The what if elements were alive?
And what if Mexicans had feelings? Coco.
Whoa!
Wow.
But enchiladas prove that you do.
Yeah. I'll say this because Coco, I relate to it more and actually cry from beginning to end because that's how I grew up with my grandmother in Mexico.
I think
Coco is a
good
movie.
Wonderful movie.
Yeah.
If you don't cry at the end of Coco, you don't have a soul.
Yeah. That means you don't love your grandma.
I love Coco. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I'm a man who doesn't really have feelings. So that movie actually I did move whatever dead parts are inside of me. Yeah, I know, fucking stupidest thing you see.
It's worth seeing, Americus. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Who's actually showing up for the San Diego Comic-Con? That kicked off in earnest day. Yesterday was preview day. Today is the first day of Comic-Con International in San Diego, the premier Comic-Con globally. Let's see who's actually fucking coming.
Nobody.
Oh, fucking Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm. Oops. HBO, House of Dragons, Last of Us. They aren't there. Max is showing up, thank God, with a bunch of things you've never heard of. Sony Pictures is out with Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, Spider-Man stuff, though. That's important. Universal Pictures, Exorcist, some fucking thing and some other fucking thing. Exorcist, whatever. Out, Netflix. A bunch of pedo bullshit stuff is what Netflix largely represents these days. Warner Brothers not there, though. So you're missing out on Superman Legacy, Brave and the Bold, The Authority, Swamp Thing, Dune, and Batman Part 2. These are all big ticket items.
Just Dune Part 2 is huge.
So none of that is going to be there. In Paramount Pictures, oh boy, how exciting. What are they bringing? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Fat Ugly April, which is what you remember from being a child. In NBC Peacock, The Continental, which is the spinoff from
John Wick.
That's fine, but whatever. Amazon is there with The Wheel of Time. Oh boy! Oh my God! How exciting! What a fucking horrible series ever. Out Apple Plus, which is too bad because they actually have a lot of good stuff. Severance was a great show. I don't recognize any of the other ones, but Apple's been putting out really good stuff. In Funko, fuck off. AJ would have a moment though. AJ could show up and he could have a moment because AJ is very into Funko Pops.
So am I. So what's your point?
I will say if you've never been,
have a moment.
If you've never been to SDCC, those people do not play around at the Funko booth. Like that sucker gets swarmed for the exclusives.
Right. Oh yeah.
So this weekend we have a couple movies opening up, and I'll open this up. There's not a ton to talk about here, but it's still interesting mildly that they expect Barbie to outperform Oppenheimer. Which fuck off. Which I get because most people. Wait a minute, Nomi?
Yes.
Nomi, did you see Barbie?
I'm gonna see it Sunday, and I'm already having regrets.
Oh, okay, so you're bracing yourself for this.
Yes.
Because the ads sold it as something, but then something happened. Something that seems to always happen in modern cinema. The actors talked. The actors talked, and whenever actors talk, they fuck up a movie.
Yep.
Because they say all the parts that you don't get in the preview. Mm-hmm. That this movie is about, third level, intersectional feminism,
man-hating
stuff.
Yeah.
There are some other things which I guess I'm not even allowed to say the words on the interwebs or I get deleted.
I know
what does that actually mean though? I mean,
I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, I know Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch saw it last night, and I need to see her review. But I'm kind of like waiting until I go see it on Sunday because, like, I want to go without being told what
do your best.
Saw.
Do your best.
But like, I'm already anticipating like it's gonna be trash because everybody's talking about it. No spoilers, but everybody's saying the same thing.
Right.
And
it pops.
Yeah. And then I think I'm gonna have like a palate cleanse after Barbie, so I'm just gonna go to the next theater and watch Oppenheimer or Mission Impossible.
I actually want to see, which is a little bit weird. Because I haven't gone to the theater since Maverick. That was the last thing I saw. Okay. So they're expecting that Barbie will outperform Oppenheimer, though.
I see that.
But I understand why. But I don't know. Here's my prediction with that though. Week 1, Barbie will outperform Oppenheimer. Week 2, that shit's gonna flip. Mm-hmm. Oppenheimer is obviously not a film for the masses. I know it's a Chris Nolan film and it's got a lot of big names in it. That's still a pretty niche thing. People interested in seeing the guy who invented the atomic bomb. I think it's interesting, but I know a lot of other people are not.
I'm willing to bet that 80% of people don't even know who Oppenheimer is.
Yes.
What White Sands is or any of that stuff.
Nope, agreed.
I
do. Yeah. Well, yeah, but
yeah.
Also, you know what I mean? Your average person isn't either going to know but not care, or they're going to have no idea. And what Pops is saying is a 3-hour movie that normies are not interested in. Whereas
there's
Barbie
also
is ubiquitous. But everybody knows who Barbie is.
Yeah, and even with word of mouth, I think general audiences have gotten so used to such extreme conversations about how great a movie is or how terrible a movie is. I don't know if it's going to derail Barbie as much as we think it is. I think people are going to have seen the trailers, which the trailers represent really nothing of what this show actually is. This film actually is, because the trailers look fun. They look camp.
Yes.
They look like it looks like it's a funny.
Yeah, but when you
movie.
hear the actors talk, it doesn't fucking sound like that. It sounds
even
doesn't
before
sound like
the
that at all.
actors.
Sorry, you're looking
even
at
before the
inside
actors
here,
started talking. Even before the actors started talking, I was giving fair warnings that this film is highly political and the ending is going to piss a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
But
so I did I get my highlighted part from this where Ron Perlman threatens the guy. So I've got an article here. Ron Perlman has become such a peach, and you did a bit on this, Joker, I think, as well.
No,
I know Wookie, or am I confusing you and Wookie?
Probably.
So Wookie Be Bad must have done, where he basically, because one of the execs said, we want this thing to continue.
Because we look so much alike, so.
That's not true. Where I'm trying to find the exact quote, because Ron Perlman basically told a Hollywood exec, there are a lot of ways to lose your home.
It's Iger.
Is he talking to Iger?
Yeah.
Okay. And admittedly, I'm not a big fan of Bob Iger. Please don't mistake that. But Ron Perlman is actively threatening a guy. He doesn't understand why strikes happen. Strikes happen so that actors can make studios lose money, so that they have to negotiate. That's why there's a strike. It is going to hurt the guys who are striking, though. You have a strike fund, I get that, but that money doesn't last forever. And and again, I've talked about my opinions on the strike. I'm of two minds. One, I do support some of the things that they are striking for. AI, I'm not a fan of, but this just boosts the reason why you have AI. And the way streaming services have kind of changed the map and don't reflect that as far as the way the contracts are written. Okay, I get that. Iger said, and I get that. Iger said a thing, but Ron Perlman threatened to destroy his home. Basically, hey, I'm going to come burn down your fucking house, motherfucker. I don't like Ron Perlman for a myriad of reasons. He said a lot of stupid things. And then he tries to backtrack it. Ron Perlman is an actor who plays a tough guy. That's who Ron Perlman is. Have you ever, what have you done other than that? That's fine. I mean, you've earned more money doing that than a lot of people have. Are you a tough guy, Ron? Are you going to go burn down someone's house? Are you going to call someone to do that? That's a crime, by the way. You might want to lay low, as they said in Anchorman. Don't say stupid things on camera that you might regret. Oh, I got all worked up because what? You have a low IQ and you can't contain yourself?
If Jacob Ironside is calling you an asshat, you are a bad person.
Jacob Ironside is... It takes a lot to get that out of Jacob Ironside. When he says, geez, I'm like, oh. So, yes. So Ron Perlman is an asshat. That is... He has confirmed it. He has cemented it. If I said something like that, hey, I'm going to come burn down your house, I'm probably labeled as a criminal, and probably I'm going to get a visit from someone. He can say that kind of stuff because he's one of them.
And it kind of goes into Jason Aldean's songs. Try that in a small town and see what happens.
Yes, and they've banned him. They've tried to ban him, but his song is now risen to number one. And it's I didn't realize that song was out there. It's wait.
No.
So the Jason Aldean song, which was about the riots, the summer of love, and how it all took place in urban centers, because that's the only place you can get away with that. If you did that in a small town, there would have been different outcomes, and a lot of other people would be labeled as other things other than people who are defending their homes and property, which is what they would have been doing. But whatever, that's fine. I have opinions. Yeah. And they're mine. They don't reflect that of anyone else on the panel.
Yeah. but it's a country song, so who cares?
Yeah.
So then I've got this thing, which I thought was kind of interesting, and this is for the gamers out there. I am not a gamer myself, so it doesn't affect me. But Microsoft launches new moderation program that allows players to capture and report inappropriate voice activity on any multiplayer game. Have you guys ever fucking played a game?
Yes.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
I don't know what the goal is here. It's probably trying to capture something.
Hate speech. Hate speech.
Hate speech.
They're trying
whatever the fuck hate speech is.
They're trying to break down on the people saying the word ninja.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's paraphrasing.
I'd be surprised.
I'm very paraphrasing it.
And I get it. I get the cleverness of that. I understand that I'm old. But
Just making sure.
Is that a big thing out there? And also, is it meant in a hostile fashion? I don't know that. I don't know any of these things.
It can get pretty toxic if you're on voice chat.
I guess, but here's the deal: you can play the game or not play the fucking game. Am I incorrect with that assumption?
Right, but
and
if you have like
when you dive into one of those things, you shouldn't let your 10-year-old into a fucking.
That's what I was going to say. If you have a 10-year-old that's trying to play that game with some adults, it gets pretty spicy. But I mean, there are ways around it. But some of the games, even if you like don't have a headset and don't engage in the chat, you can still hear them in proximity. So I kind of see the point of it, but I think it's going to get abused.
I do and I don't. The reasons they're doing it, I don't think are the reasons that they say they're doing it. That's the problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then we have. Don't you fucking do it. Sorry, I had to look behind me. I thought my shit was going to fall again. So this I found remarkable. So we're looking at Aquaman 2, the movie that doesn't matter, right?
Right.
This movie is costing a fucking fortune.
Yep.
They're over $200 million and they're doing reshoots now. And they got rid of.
They're not doing reshoots. They're not doing reshoots right now. They can't.
Oh, they were going to do reshoots, I guess. No, they've already done them, Joker, because they had the original version, which got low ratings. They did a second version, which got lower ratings. Then they did a third version, which was like, I guess, meh. But they cut out all the Michael Keaton and then Ben Affleck stuff as well. So there's no Batman in this anymore. But what shocked me was just the overall price tag. So here it is. The film was greenlit for $205 million, which for a fucking sequel that doesn't matter is an awful lot of money. And then you have the reshoots, which added, however many million to that number. This movie, Pops is probably right. I mean, that's the only fucking reason to do it is money laundering at this point. This movie doesn't matter. This movie is non-existent. It doesn't exist in the James Gunn universe. James Gunn is dumping all of these fucking things. I've already seen projections for Blue Beetle.
It's not good.
They are not good.
No.
They're talking like $12, $17 million opening.
Right. And last week I explained why that these films are being released is because they have to be released. Because they have too many contractual ironclad contracts in foreign the markets that these things have to be released. The Warner Brothers knows they're going to take a loss right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They know it.
The thing though is like the fact that they've done the reshoots that they've done just doesn't make sense. Like the moment they decided that James Gunn was going to take over and kind of relaunch things, which they knew. They already knew they were either setting up The Rock to take over things or they were setting up James Gunn, and they were waiting to see how Black Adam performed before they made their decision. So they knew that they were going to change course regardless. But the fact that they've gone through and done all these reshoots to kind of take out the cameos that were added in previous reshoots, it's just wasting money. Like, just go back to the original film that you had before you added all the cameos in. Because keep in mind, Aquaman 2 should have come out like 7 months ago, 8 months ago. It should have already been out. It should have been done. It's like past it. Flash was supposed to come out in like 2018, 2019 originally. So they should have just pulled old footage that they had, scrapped all the reshoots that they've done. It doesn't matter anyway. Why spend more money? Why put more money into all the CGI and stuff that you're going to have to add to these reshoots? Like, just make your loss a loss, because they would have done better off by going back to the very original Flash before any of the Michael Keaton stuff got added, which I get it, or at least changed, I should say. And then the whole cameos at the end, whatever they're going to have, like, they should have just let it go, gone back to what they originally had, put that out there. They released their film. They can make whatever little money they're going to make off of it and just put their attention on moving forward.
What's the reason for the reshoots, though? Is it because they think it's going to be better, or?
Well, so for
Josh, I think we lost your audio.
Flash.
There you go. Yeah, we lost your audio for like a minute.
Son of a biscuit, this fucking internet. So yeah, no, the original reshoots for Aquaman was to make the actual story better because it wasn't being received well. But they did reshoots for the Flash in particular to change how they were utilizing these cameo characters, because they were going to set up Michael Keaton to become this figure that led into Batgirl and trained Batgirl, because that was the direction they were going to go there for a while. And then also set up Sasha Kaye to become the new Superman, quote unquote, figure in the universe. And then once they decided that James Gunn was going to take over, they did more reshoots to undo all of that. And it's like, why did you do reshoots to undo all of that when you already had something not doing that beforehand?
Mm-hmm.
That's why, to me, whenever this stuff happens, I always get this feeling that it's like DEI or ESG that's driving some of this stuff. Somebody looked at it and said, I think we got to do this instead. Because otherwise it's just, who's in charge? It's utter chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That's costing them hundreds of millions of dollars by not having somebody in a solid leadership role.
Agreed.
Yeah, you said it, Josh. I mean, make the loss a loss as opposed to a colossal loss.
Yep.
So then we have James Gunn and the workplace story of Superman. That's exciting to no one, I think. I don't know why they're.
I'm actually fine with that.
Are you guys really fine with this? I'm not fine with this at all. I think it's. I don't care.
Josh, go first. Josh, go first.
I'm going to pull this off because it's slowing me down a little bit.
I'm all for it because it's going to be the Daily Planet. So you're gonna have Lois, you're gonna have Perry, you're gonna have Jimmy Olsen. You're gonna have all that there. But so much of Superman's story and how he would get information to know to start looking into things came from information he was finding out from the Daily Planet.
All right.
So I'm all for it. Also, it lets me know that we're not gonna have this sour, evil, I hate everything Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have, and I think you can.
That's what you just described.
I mean, okay. I mean, because I just watched the Donner film, not just the other night.
Yeah.
There's a lot of workplace in that film where it is Clark interacting with Lois, interacting with Perry, interacting with Jimmy.
Okay, so what year of Superman is this then, though? How long has he been Superman?
Not long.
Very young Superman.
I mean, is he still fucking his way through the galaxy? Is he still discovering his powers? I don't want to see that shit. I hope they don't do that.
This is going to be. I believe it is set after. Okay, if I'm using the Donner cut as my basis here, it is after the Fortress of Solitude has been made, and then he has this little chat with his dad, and they go outside space-time, and that 12 years has lapsed. So this is going to be a young adult Clark Kent getting hired at the Daily Planet.
Okay.
And that's my guess.
All right. I don't know. I mean, between this and this is just me, and I know I'm a fucking soured old grump. I get that.
Little black pill there.
A little bit.
Mhm.
Between this and all the casting that we've gotten, which seems excessive, I'm like, I was really excited when Gunn got the gig, and now I'm like, but it's just my overall problem with everything that comes out now is I'm like, I just don't know. Fucking Justified. I'm watching that now. I was really excited about Justified. I'm not digging it.
Okay, so I actually talked about the other castings on my the Monday, and hearing this now leads me to believe my thought was right, that a lot of these characters are going to be used in post-credit, mid-credit scenes, because as Gunn said, there were superheroes before the arrival of Superman. This is true. So I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, but I really have a good feeling about this project, and nothing James Gunn has done has soured me in any way.
And I will agree with you as far as track record of Gunn goes. I just finally got to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Good film.
Man, that was I enjoyed that a lot. That movie had a big giant heart. I enjoyed it immensely. I was hoping it was going to be everything that it was. That's the way I go into movies now, hoping. That was the kiss. I didn't know if he was going to give Marvel the kiss or the finger on his way out the door. He gave him the kiss, so that was good.
Yes.
And I love that it didn't tie into anything else.
No,
same.
Nothing else. There wasn't some cocked up post credit scene that brought it into. They just left it the fuck alone, and I was very grateful for that. So we'll see. Like I said, you're right though. I do like Gunn. I haven't not liked stuff that he's done. So there's that. All right, we're coming up on time here, so I'm gonna zip through these next couple items. I want to show this one though because
let's talk about Harry Potter.
You shut your fucking dirty mouth, Joker.
I do have one question about the new Superman. Is it going to be tied into like Peacemaker, and if so, is Eagly going to be in it?
No, that's all done.
That's the real
that
question.
Would be better if Eagly were in it. I would be like, I'm on board.
No, it looks like Peacemaker is still carrying forward.
Yes, it is.
Because they're still doing.
Well,
they're still doing
because that was detached largely from the other stuff, Josh.
They're still doing Peacemaker season 2. So it looks like they're moving forward with Peacemaker and John Cena.
I'll take it. I enjoyed that. I thought it was funny. I enjoyed that series.
I hate
Ms. Marvel takes a super leap from Disney Plus to ABC for the first MCU show on network. I can't say MC. I want to say MCU show on network television. They are so desperate, and Ms. Marvel did so badly on Disney. Lowest performing show, which is fucking amazing. Given the company it's keeping, it was the lowest performing show. Although I don't know how it's comparing to the Nick Fury show.
And I know that Josh and I disagree on this, but in my opinion, it is the best overall story of all the Disney Plus Marvel shows.
Oh yeah, so I tend to say that WandaVision for me is the best, but I was gonna say it's actually in my opinion, a really good show for what it is. And it's done well. It's acted well.
Yes.
And Iman Vellani, this actress, so much charisma, and she deserves so much better than what she's about to walk into.
She is adorable.
This is going to need some therapy.
And she's walking into it, and she's
she's walking into a shit show. So why is Disney Plus doing this, kids? Why would they do that?
Because nobody saw Ms. Marvel. Because nobody saw Ms. Marvel.
Because no one gave a fuck. Because they, anything with Marvel attached to it, particularly on the title, is already tainted. Oops, I don't want to bring that up again.
I watched
that up again. Stop touching that.
I watched it, and I thought that her family interaction was probably the best part. With her
absolutely.
And her parents.
The first 3 episodes are genuinely good, like teen kid show. The ending got a little. It was overzealous.
And Josh, I will agree with you. The WandaVision episodes, the 1 through 5, is the most creatively ambitious thing Marvel has done.
Yeah.
I have hated to the core every live action Marvel Disney Plus show. There's not one that I have liked an ounce. There are those that I've avoided, so I can't say that I necessarily hate them more than others. I didn't give a fuck about Miss Marvel, though, so I didn't watch it. And I got through chunks of WandaVision, but I didn't like that one either. They didn't, and don't get me started on fucking Moon Knight. So the reason they're doing this is because of this. The Marvels is coming out, and no one gives a fuck. This is going to be a disaster for Disney, Phase, fuck all, whatever it is. No one cares.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care a lot because of this lovely gal who soured a lot of people on this character and Marvel moving forward. And she did not do female characters or actresses in superhero roles any favors by the way she, brought herself out to the fandom. She attacked the fandom immediately, and then you got what you got. So it's not a shock that no one cares about things that are attached to her. And she has feet that look like they belong to a Trolloc, which is neither here nor there, but I like to talk about them.
And the sad thing is in this last year, she has really tried to soften the audience to her.
Nope.
The problem is right before the Secret Invasion series, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep. Said a lot of stupid shit.
Mm-hmm. And basically threw her under a bus.
So as you can see, your politics do have an effect on how your movie is going to perform, because if you attack the fandom with things that, blah, 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 generally something leading into white males is how this usually goes. Mm. Who's paying your paycheck there, sport? Who are buying the tickets to see your films? Now, granted, the audience isn't just that. However, when you look at superhero properties in general, who is going to see the fucking movies? White males, fucking 16 to 35. There's a demographic that is fucking built into this shit since day one. And if you're going against that, you're going against the guys who are fucking buying the shit. But, whatever. I know nothing. I'm a man in a melting garage. So Marvel's dead on arrival. I don't need to talk about Masters of the Universe. That's also dead on arrival.
Yeah, dead on arrival.
Selling that shit off, and Kevin Smith cried again. I thought
the Midnight's Edge. The Midnight's Edge. Not too a few hours ago, Andre did a really good video on the breakdown of this story.
Kevin Smith shit the bed. Ultimately, is what,
and that's what happened.
And Netflix is like, you know what? We don't want to lose any more fucking money, so we're actually. And they did, Josh, what you said Marvel should do or not Marvel, but DC should do. They're like, well, fuck it, we're going to lose $30 million. Well, we're going to lose $30 million, but we're not losing $100 million.
Yeah,
it's a loss, but it's a much smaller loss. So they're controlling it because they know they got a dead product.
Speaking of this, kind of to go back to Ms. Marvel real quick, we talked about, they're doing this because the Marvel's coming out and nobody cares. Less than that, I guarantee you they're airing Ms. Marvel on ABC because they're going to get revenue. They're actually going to get revenue from it. They don't have to pay anything. It's filmed. It's done. So they're just going to make money
do less
from this.
than they're doing now, Josh? How is that possible?
Yeah.
Which is weird which also they're putting it on ABC, which Iger has openly said is up for sale now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. ABC, FX, FXX, Freeform, Nat, and Nat Geo, all up for sale, and they're looking for a lucrative partner to join them for ESPN.
Well, they're reaping all of their ESG seeds that they've sown.
Yeah.
Is what's happened.
100%, dude.
Because they have to buy Hulu.
Which is why fucking
And-
Cam Jackson shows
And they way overspent on acquiring Fox.
Definitely.
Yep. Well,
Oops.
like the guys, like the Bob said in Office Space, these things have a way of taking care of themselves. It'll all work out in the end.
No,
when everyone files bankruptcy.
We fixed the glitch. It'll just take care of itself.
So you fired him. No.
No. We fixed the glitch.
So the last little just kind of interesting tidbit that I saw was this thing. And I hope this actually doesn't happen once it fucking comes up on the screen, because even my internet's angry about the heat out here. Kenneth Branagh to helm Gargoyles film, live action. This is a film. This was a series that came out in
90s.
The 90s.
Late,
I watched it
early
as a kid. Yep.
It's a great.
because I was
great series.
older when this came out. I thought it was an interesting series, though. I actually enjoyed it. You know, it was one of those animated series that had a lot of appeal to not just kids, which is where most of these things were written back in the late 90s. They did a very good job with this. I don't see the point to this now. It's a franchise that most people don't know. I mean, our generation does. No one has done a good job at making one of these things move forward. They don't. They usually come out underwhelming at best, and at worst, they destroy your memory of the thing that you had when you were a kid. So I hope this doesn't come to fruition. I hope this dies amongst the writer bullshit that's going on right now. Because, go ahead, John.
Would you like some good news?
Pray tell, Josh, what is the good news?
It's not happening. This is fake.
Oh, is it dead? Is it? Oh, it's not even real.
It's not even real.
Oh,
So Aaron, who's typically on my show on Tuesdays, he's really good friends with Greg Weisman. And Greg Weisman created Gargoyles. Greg Weisman said himself, this isn't real. It's not happening. He doesn't know where it came from.
That is the best news we've had all night, other than Olivia Colman cutting off another Skrull's finger.
And with that,
so that is going to be the wrap-up of the news, and that ended up being actually false news, and I'm glad it was, because that I didn't want to see them fucking
it's all fake news.
to bed with that
It doesn't
series.
exist. It's wrong.
And I'm the one who delivered it this week, though, so that's the unfortunate part. So next week we are going to have Pops with us as well, and we are going to be doing our Secret Invasion wrap-up. First half of the show, we're going to be talking about the final episode of Secret Invasion, which might be our favorite episode, as long as it has all Olivia Colman killing all the Skrulls. So we'll have to see what happens.
Well, regardless, it will be my favorite.
Because it's the last.
Because it's the last one, right?
Yes. We're the same. So we have that to look forward to. And then the second half, we're just going to have our general discussion about the show. So that's going to be next week's show. And then I don't know what the fuck's happening after that. Upcoming eventually, I'm hoping it actually be not too far in the future, I will be covering with panel Dark City, which is something I wanted to do a couple months ago now.
Movie.
I just haven't been able to work out the time, because that one's going to require more than a couple hours.
Two words that make that movie great.
Jennifer Connelly.
It's true. So that's a great one. And same director, Alex Proyas, that did The Crow, which we did not terribly long ago. Those are his like two big tied together movies.
And Rufus Sewell, one of his
I love Rufus Sewell, one of the great underutilized actors. So that may be in 2 weeks. I'm going to have to feel this out and see where we end up here. So anyway, that's what we're looking right now as I try to cobble together the pieces of the Empire. I do want to thank the chat tonight for hanging in there. You guys were champs. All the stuff was going on. I didn't know what was going to happen, but man, you guys brought it. I'm really happy you're here. Thank you for bringing all the info that you always bring and making a lot of funny comments, usually at my expense. But no, Nomi is not the Skrull. Let's take a look at the poll, the way the poll ended tonight. So what's keeping Roman alive in the 100-degree studio? Copious amounts of alcohol won, with Secret Skull Strength and Ball Fan of the Empire being tied. So that's actually pretty accurate. I thought Ball Fan might pull it out, but it did not. So
turns out the
not
real
bad.
answer is Roman is an AI. So he doesn't
I
even
actually,
feel heat.
as we saw earlier in the show, I actually don't exist. I do want to thank again the panel for again enduring this show this week. And I may actually blame the show for why Mando's not here. It might have been too much for her. It might have been too much this week, and it might have taken her out. But thank you guys for again enduring this and having such good takes and individual takes on the show. That's what I like about this panel. We kind of have a similar focus on the end game of the show, but everybody has different plot points and things that they like to talk about within the show, and that's a lot of fun, as opposed to me talking in a vacuum, which is no fucking fun at all. Ask Mrs. of the Empire. So let's go around the horn real fast. Shieldwall, what do you have coming up?
Obviously next Thursday. So looking forward to that. And that's really about it. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to the chat for everybody being here. And hopefully when Nomi goes and sees Barbie, she doesn't lose her mind.
Hear about that, Nomi.
Yep.
You'll hear about it
And get her perspective on it. And it's always great being on here with Jerker Voice and Josh. And
I know.
Keeping us set together at the seams. It's prevent it from falling down. But thanks for having me on. And thanks to the chat. So it's a lot of fun. Appreciate being here.
Right on, brother. Joker, what do you have coming up this week?
Well, this week I will be dropping my personal review of this episode tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow evening, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, with this lovely lady down here. Friday night's Royal Rumble over on Legion Talk, and then this Sunday I will be on with Wookie Be Bad. I believe also with Mags, and I believe Blair is going to be there too, and someone else I don't know yet. We will be talking about Oppenheimer. Oh, excellent. Good deal. Yeah, I still don't know. I want to go see it. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make it out of the perimeter of the Empire to make it to a theater to see if I can get in there, but I really want to get in there. Sneak out. It's just not that easy. If it were, there would be a lot more shows. Josh, what do you have going on, brother? Are you still with us? Are you trapped under something heavy?
I'm not trapped under anything heavy that I know of. Sunday, I'm going to be on Max's Man Cave with Mr. MVP himself, Max Von Priestley.
Excellent.
Monday, I should be on Premature Ejection with Flaccid, and then Tuesday, I'll have my show Culture Popped. I think that's it. And then Thursday back here.
Episode, Josh, your last episode of that was fantastic.
Tuesday's thank you. Man,
that was a great show.
I appreciate that because everything started falling apart like right before we went live. So,
did your mic go out again?
Well, my internet was sucking all night long, but then Aaron got caught in traffic, so he wasn't able to make it on.
Yeah,
and I'd already found out that Jesse was going to be late coming on, which was my own fault because I moved when we were going to record. But Jesse kind of came in. We had a really good conversation just about the state of writing and comics and even movies and TV. So it ended up resulting in a solid conversation. And Jesse actually has a book that he's crowdfunding right now. So if you go to that link or if you go to that stream, you can find the link for that in the description.
Yeah, that was the
I'm going to watch it.
Comic, right?
Yeah, King of Kings. And for those of you that are wondering, Jesse Blaze Snyder, he's written comics before. His dad is Dee Snyder from Twisted Sister. So he's got a very interesting background.
Yeah, dude was on fire. It was there were a lot of funny comments. He's like, "This is just how I am."
Yeah.
He's at an 11 all the time, and it was energizing to watch the show. It was fantastic. That's some of the best just back and forth I've seen in a very long time. I really
you know what's really crazy about this whole YouTube space is I've seen so many people that would fall into the frame of famous or top of their field or really, and you just see them on a random YouTube stream.
Yeah.
Or they have their own channel, and you're just like, you can hop in the chat and engage with this person, whereas 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you would have had to meet them on the street somehow at random, and you would never be able to like pick their brain like you can here. I don't know. It's pretty amazing to me.
And that's also called stalking, Shieldwall, so be careful with that. Nomi the Only, what do you have coming up?
Well, tomorrow I'll be on Friday Night Royal Rumble with this clown above me, and then after Friday Night Royal Rumble, I will be on Abyssal Musings with Samuel the Infamous. And then Sunday, I'm going to be watching Barbie. But before I go watch Barbie, there are several Barbie-themed parties that are happening in El Paso that I will be attending. God. So I'm definitely going to be going a little drunk to the movie.
So that can only improve the movie for you.
Are you going to those parties to get content for a video?
I could do that. Yes, I could totally.
Are you going as Barbie?
Well, apparently I have to wear a pink dress, and I don't have pink dresses. I have red.
You caved. You caved.
I haven't bought the dress yet. I was
going to say, go get a pink dress. Nomi, you would look good in a pink dress. Go get a pink dress.
Oh, thank you, Josh. That means a lot. Yeah. Well, now I'm going to go find a pink dress. But yeah.
Are you going with who I think you are?
The person that you think that you're thinking. We're going to go to the parties, and then I'm going to the movies with another group of friends.
Ryan Gosling? You're going with Ryan Gosling? Because that's who I'm thinking, but I don't know anything.
No, not Ryan Gosling, unfortunately.
That's good because I don't like Ryan Gosling, Nomi, and I'd be sad if you were seen with him. So,
no, I'll be going with some childhood friends of mine.
Excellent.
Gotcha.
Well, that's a busy weekend. Nomi is a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. So, with that, folks, thanks for hanging out with us again through Secret Invasion, and then through the news cycle, which is I think more fun for us to talk about, but because it's a lot more at least varied, and it's surprising sometimes. Whereas Secret Invasion has not been surprising. It should have been the Great Spy series. Lots of disappointment. Also, I'm watching Justified, and it's a 1-for-1 right now. There have been 2 episodes out. One was terrible, and one is pretty good. So I'm giving it one more episode, and that will sway whether I even finish this series or not, if it's good or if it is not good. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so thanks for hanging out with us here at Roman of the Empire, talking about Secret Invasion. We will see you next week with Pops as we bring this whole thing to a close. Until that time,
toodles!
Be kind.
you